Miners won the opening toss. They choose to defer. And Gavin Beckley will kick off to the Aggies. We talk so often about Jason Huntley in the kick return game. He has been so good during his entire career, but he is looking for his first kick return touchdown this year. He currently has 5 career, and the FBS record is 7. And here's the opening kickoff. This one is through the end zone, and the Aggies will start with quarterback Josh Atkins at the 25-yard line. And the offense was humming last week, Danny, especially on the ground. A season-high 295 rushing yards 1 week ago.
Yeah, both running backs getting in the action as well. So both over 100 yards. Gibson and Huntley are really the 1-2 punch that we'll see that they can get back to. And, you know, when that's working, it really makes the passing game open up. So let's see what they start with.
Mason Huntley had 185 rushing yards a week ago. Christian Gibson also over 100.
Penalty be half the distance to the goal. First down.
So a penalty on the Aggies on the kickoff. It goes on Matt Young, half the distance to the goal. The Aggies are pushed back even further at the 12.5-yard line. So a tough break to start for Atkins in the Aggie offense. And here's our impact players, Danny.
Yeah, the impact players, Jason Huntley and Christian Gibson offensively for the Ags. Both running backs, when they're humming, it makes it really hard to stop. And on the other side, UTEP, Michael Lewis is the leading tackler with 81 for UTEP. Stephen Foster got a start last week, had 11 tackles. He's formidable.
The Aggies will throw it on first down to O.J. Clark, who has the 3rd most receptions in school history. And he's met by the Miners. Leading the charge right there was cornerback Josh Caldwell. This Miners defense has been pretty good at times this year. They're allowing 36 points per game, but they're only scoring 18 per game. They allowed 37 last week against UAB. Huntley in motion. Huntley with the reception. Breaks a tackle. Jason Huntley far side of the field. And he's wrestled down to the outside near the edge by Duran Lowe, the cornerback from Shawnee, Kansas.
You know, these quick passes are what the Aggies have been living on. And I know everyone says, what about those? Those are so easy. They are, but what happens is you end up in one-on-one situation, and if you miss a tackle like you did there on Huntley, that has a chance to break it all the way for a touchdown. And so those are still good passes, you know, get 4 or 5 yards out of it.
Huntley got 4 yards on the catch. The Aggies on a 3rd down complete the pass to O.J. Clark, and O.J. Clark has the first down and more as he's taken out of bounds in the near sideline.
Getting a little pushy already. Which can happen with both these schools being so close together and they know each other. I want to show the nice move right at the end. This is knowing where you are in the game and where your opposing player is. Over pursued by UTEP. You do a little spin move and get some extra yardage, and then we have a little extra activity there.
10-yard gain for O.J. Clark. Josh Atkins completed 74% of his passes last week. This one is almost caught off the bobble by Tony Nicholson. Could have been intercepted as well.
Yeah, when you're a defensive player, here's what happens, that you're always looking for the tip. So when you're the offensive player, if you can't get the ball, the object is to knock that thing down. Now it hit the top. The defensive guy might have got a hand in there, but when the ball's in the air, that's open territory for the defense, and so we're lucky to get out of that one alive there. Although Tony almost made can make another catch on that.
2nd down and 10. Running back is Jason Huntley. They pitch it to him. Huntley explodes, looking for a hole. And he's down after only picking up 2 yards. It's going to be 3rd down, 8 yards to go.
You know, UTEP certainly knows what the Aggies are going to do. They know what Huntley and Gibson can do back there running, so they're going to try to corral those guys and not let them get to the edge, and that's what that last run was. They said, no, you can't have the edge. You've got to run back inside where all our help is.
The Aggies need the 38-yard line, and they're going to run it on 3rd and 8. Bulldozing ahead is Christian Gibson. Taken down by Josh Ortega, defensive lineman from El Paso and Montenwood High School, after Gibson gets 6. And the Aggies will have to punt. with it now at 4th and 2.
Yeah, it looks like a little run pass option in there, so maybe he saw something where he was going to hand it off, you know, and play a little safer rather than pop up. There wasn't a lot happening from a pass situation, so get the ball, punt it away.
Back deep for UTEP is Justin Garrett, one of their wide receivers. Geisler will punt it, coming off a good week. Had a long of 53 1 week ago. That takes a UTEP bounce, and it's down by Jason Simmons Jr. at the 25-yard line. 39-yard punt for Geisler, who's one of the seniors who was honored pregame. The Aggies with 23 seniors honored earlier today. Always emotional, Danny, on Senior Day, isn't it?
Yeah, Senior Day is very emotional because what happens is sometimes your parents can't get to all your games, and now here's a situation where your parents come down, they want to send you off, and you want to play hard and good for them, and you want to get a W, so it gets emotional sometimes, but you got to stay within yourself.
As we thought would happen, Kai Loxley is the starter today for UTEP. It was a game-time decision, but Doug Martin felt like all week Loxley would be the guy to go. And he is a running quarterback. He's big, Danny. He's 6'4", 210, a senior from Maryland.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Loxley. You know, he was spent some time in Albuquerque, and our family had a chance to spend some time with his older brother, Miko. And so Kai, very good athlete from an early age, a good runner, and you have to kind of spy him with a linebacker because he will come out, and if it's a jailbreak, he can't take it to the house. So got to keep him contained.
Loxley really struggled last week. He was 0 for 4 for an interception as well before getting replaced by Gavin Hardison. Loxley will hand it off to Trayvon Hughes, who's the featured back for UTEP. They're going to use a couple of different backs, but it's Hughes who's the best back for the Miners.
Well, from an impact player standpoint, when Aggies are on the defense, you have Cedric Wilcox, who leads a team in sacks, had one last week, and you had Jared Phipps. Phipps had 2 interceptions last week. Let's see if he can't get another one this week. On the other side, Trayvon Hughes, he's their leading rusher, and we'll see a lot of him today. And also Jacob Cowan, who had 5 receptions for 85 yards last week. 2 good players to keep your eye on.
This is start number 6 this year for Loxley. He doesn't throw the ball a ton. He's only attempted 137 passes for the year. He'll throw on a 3rd down, almost intercepted. Chance Cook, the transfer from Oklahoma State, got his hands on it, just couldn't reel it in.
Chance Cook had his hands right on there, but you run into something. And this is just what happens because you have a safety coming from center field in there, and he's making a play on the ball as he should. And the other cornerback is coming in with coverage, and they just bump into each other. Most importantly, it got knocked away.
Mitchell Crawford will punt now for UTEP. So both teams having a punt on their first offensive drives. The Aggies had a punt return touchdown last week from O.J. Clark, and this is a low one. Could be tough to handle. Nicholson and Clark both get out of the way, and it rolls all the way down inside the 25, down to the 24. It'll go as a 48-yard punt for the Australian, Mitchell Crawford. Aggie ball when you come back. It's the Battle of I-10, sponsored by Wells Fargo. '97th all-time meeting in the Battle of I-10. Aggies and Miners here today at Aggie Memorial Stadium. The Aggies looking for their 3rd straight win against UTEP. The Aggies' last 3-game win streak against the Miners came in the early 90s. Here's a look at the team comparison. Pretty even numbers, record-wise, of course, and also points per game. Opponents' points per game, UTEP has been a little better. And you can kind of see here, the Aggies are a pass-first team. The Miners are a run-first team. And so far, Josh Atkins, 3 of 4 through the air for the Aggies after 1 offensive possession.
Looks like a pretty even matchup on the stats piece.
Sure does. Miners coming off a loss at UAB. The Aggies coming off a win against UIW. O.J. Clark was in motion. Running back is Huntley. They fake it to Huntley. They swing it out for Clark. Good play call there for the Aggies. Clark is across the 30, lowers his shoulders up near the 36. He picks up 12 yards, good enough for the first down.
I like this because you end up taking O.J. Clark in motion one way, then you bring him back the other way, and what happens is you end up having a linebacker in a chasing mode. So he was chasing him, you dump the ball out there, and O.J. makes a good little play to get some extra yardage after the catch.
Third reception already for the redshirt senior Clark on senior day. Cutting it back to his left is Jason Huntley, and he's upended at midfield. If he breaks that tackle from Josh Caldwell, he might have been gone. He still gets 15.
So, Adam, do you think he could have cut that one back in right at the end there and take that one to the house? I don't know. It was close. I was thinking, but anytime he gets in the open field, it's touchdown all the way it could be. Here he is breaking to the left. You see to the outside. I was thinking he could cut back in, but maybe not. He's probably had a better view for it, but what a great run.
Aggies into minor territory. A pass across the middle is bobbled and then caught. That's Andre Bodison, who got his first 2 career catches last week, and he hauls in an early pass in the first quarter.
Yeah, Bodison gets a little bobble in there, hits him on that little post action in there. It's kind of a quick slant, and it's a good pass, a good safe pass, especially if you have a defender behind you. But the defender gets a ball in there and taps it up. It almost got into trouble, but nice catch.
Right back to Huntley. Big explosion. Jason Huntley is gone. Touchdown, 38 yards away.
Hey-o, here we go. Last week he had a big, just went off last week. Comes back again to the same thing. Jason Huntley in the open field. There's no one going to catch him. He had one guy to beat. He turns on the jets right here. There's nothing catching him. You can see both those defenders shutting it down because it's not going to happen. Way to take it to the house, Mr. Huntley.
Rushing touchdown number 7 this year for Huntley. His 16th career rushing score. Point after from Dylan Brown out of the hold of Luke Wilson, and the senior knocks it through. And the Aggies go ahead 7-0. The All-American back at it again. Had a big game last week with a touchdown. He now has a rushing touchdown in 7 of his previous 8. The Aggies lead 7-0. The Aggies only needed 4 plays, a touchdown run again for Jason Huntley. 7 now for him this year. He's having a career year, and he had a season high in rushing yards 1 week ago against UIW on 25 carries, 174 last week on the ground. And at the weekly press conference on Tuesday, Jason talked about his performance 1 week ago.
I feel like it was more of a doing too much than not enough. You know, it's just trying to get that touchdown, trying to get that spark, trying to get us going. And but it wasn't a terrible game, but I feel like I could have played better. As a team, we got our first win, and that's great. That's huge. We need that. And now that the young guys know what it's like to win, and they can just build on from that. You know, some of the freshmen had never heard of the Wobble song. You know, now that they know what it's like to win, we can go do that again this week.
Jason Huntley having a career year. He puts the Aggies ahead 7-0. Ironically enough, his final home game in his career will be against UTEP. His first career game ever was against UTEP as well 4 years ago when the Aggies went against Aaron Jones in the minors that day. A return for Duran Lowe, and he is belted. Robert Downs III, a wide receiver with a huge tackle on special teams. There is a flag down near the 14-yard line.
During the return, blocking the back, receiving team, number 20. Penalty will be half the distance to the goal, first down.
That penalty on UTEP is on Ray Walters for an illegal block in the back. So this will really send UTEP back even further inside the 5-yard line. They're going to start at the 4, and Kai Loxley will stay in for the second possession as the UTEP quarterback.
I sure like that kickoff, and everyone was in their lane. You can see from that replay, that was a great job.
Loxley in his own end zone to start. Dangerous territory here for the Miners on offense. They will hand it off, And slipping and falling is Trayvon Hughes, a big running back at 6'1", 235. And guess who leads the charge on senior day? Baton Rouge native Javon Ferguson.
Javon Ferguson, he's just a tackling machine, man. He gets up in there and just wreaks havoc when he gets in the backfield, and that's exactly what he did.
It was a loss of 3 on the play, so all the way back to the 1. And this is safety territory right here for the Miners. We'll see what the Aggies do defensively. The Aggies show pressure. Hodge will rush. Loxley fires, completes the pass to Trayshawn Wolf. Up across the 10-yard line for a 9-yard pickup. They're going to mark him at the 10. That's where he's down.
So
and
Coach,
it brings up 3rd down for the Miners.
Coach dialed up a little blitz. He's trying to pin him back there, maybe get a safety, but Loxley got the ball out quickly to a nice little out pattern right there and got some yardage, got some breathing room at least. Brings down an interesting down here, though, because you still have them pinned.
Miners were 2 for 13 last week on a 3rd down in their loss at UAB. They're only converting on 33% of their 3rd downs this year. Same number as the Aggies offensively. Loxley looks left, he throws left, diving catch. What a grab right there. That is Alan Busey, the senior from Anchorage, Alaska. Catch number 16 for him this year.
Yeah, that's a nice throw and catch there by Kai, and Busey just pulls that thing down there. He lays it out in front. That's good defensive coverage too, because we're all over him. But Pips is just right there, but he just makes a great catch.
Keep in mind too, the Aggies without safety Austin Perkins for the first half today. Perkins was ejected in half 2 last week for targeting, so he cannot play in half 1. He will play though in half 2. And a flag down before the snap.
Illegal substitution, offense. 12 men broke the huddle. 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
Illegal substitution called on UTEP. Our referee today, by the way, is Ken Ante. And Dana Dimmel, the head coach for the Miners, is unhappy.
That seems like even when they try to get something going and they have it there, you end up shooting yourself in the foot with that.
5-yard penalty for UTEP. Some confusion offensively here for the Miners. Loxley playing in his 10th game, just his 6th start this year. UTEP has used 3 quarterbacks. Whistles a pass near side, and met immediately is Kavika Johnson, the local product. The Aggies all over it defensively. Rashi Hodge Jr. having a great year in his first year as an Aggie.
You know, every week that we see Hodge Jr. play, he just gets stronger and stronger, and he's just getting a nose for the football. And I think that just shows his comfort with the defense. And when you get comfortable in a defense, what happens is you end up playing a lot better because you're not thinking about where should I go, what should I do, and you just react, and he's a great job there.
Josh Fields now the running back for UTEP. They will also use Reynaldo Flores. Local product, El Paso native Dion Hankins, who's been really good in limited action this year, is unavailable today because of injury. So they run it with Fields, and he gets a quality pickup, a 1st down, as he's pushed out of bounds by Chance Cook. First carry today for Fields, who's from El Paso, went to America's High School.
Now you get so here's what happens here. If you look at the linebacker right there, 44, that's Matt Young that got pinned in there. So when you get pinned inside there, that's your play. You need to come in there and step up into the hole. But they had a good block on him, and you get extra yardage when that happens.
1st down for the Miners. Fields stays in. Miners exclusively out of the shotgun here with Loxley. They fake the jet sweep. Loxley will toss ahead, incomplete, over the outstretched arms of Fields, and it was Shamad Lomax who was moving ahead there and covering.
I think Shamad Lomax could have taken 2 approaches. One is you go after the player and you make a play on him like you just saw, gave him a little shot. Or 2, that ball drifted up there. I was thinking, oh, go get that ball and you could take it to the house, Shamad, but in either case, he knocks it down. An incomplete pass, that's the right thing. But, yeah, that ball just drifted on Kai. That was a fair ball for anyone out there.
Lomax 2 years ago, as a flag comes in, had 3 interceptions.
Number 84, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
False start on UTEP. 3 interceptions against the Miners 2 years ago. for Shimon Lomax.
And there you see right there at that tight end spot, a little flinch in there.
Loxley fakes the handoff to Hughes, has time to throw, rifles to the sideline, and it's hauled in. Tiptoeing around the sideline was Trayshawn Wolf, his second catch in the day, and he picks up 20 on the pass and catch.
Yeah, that's a little out pattern there, and Kai just let that ball rip out there. That's a throw all the way across the field, and so there's just not much room for error there, and he just drops that ball right in there.
Loxley threw for a season-high 194 last year against the Aggies. He only had 3 touchdown passes a year ago. He only has 3 this year. They don't throw the ball a ton. 2 wide receivers set. A tight end in as well for the Miners. Flag comes in. Loxley, pocket collapsing, has to dive ahead. It's going to be a loss on the play. It looks like Matt Young will get credit for the tackle for loss.
You know, not much there. 3 guys out in the pattern, and all 3 were covered and nothing happening. And with everyone in with extra coverage,
Illegal
protection.
formation, offense, 5 men in the backfield. That penalty's declined, 2nd down.
You know, even when they keep max protection back there for Kai, there's still penetration. Those big bubbas up front are doing the job that they need to and pushing that offensive line back and really making that pocket collapse where Kai doesn't have nowhere to go, and he can't get comfortable back there when that pocket is in your face.
Both teams have been penalized a lot early. The Aggies to this one. 3 down linemen right now for Frank Spaziani's defense. The Aggies will rush 5. Running the football is Hughes, and he's belted by Brennan Davis, the linebacker who's filling in today for Devin Richardson, who will not play because of an ankle injury. A gain of just a couple for Hughes.
Yeah, Brennan Davis did a nice job. So the runner ended up cutting back against the grain, and Brennan Davis is over there and just doesn't allow him to get all the way across to the open field. So that's a nice tackle.
Miners 1 for 2 on 3rd down today. Once again, 2 for 13 1 week ago. On 4th down this year, they've been one of the best in the country. 13th nationally on 4th down. This is 3rd and long. Loxley drops back the pass. He is nailed, and then it's broken up in coverage. And Loxley was leveled by Ferguson and Wilcox. Good coverage from Phipps. I can't believe he got it off.
I can't either. Phipps was all over him, too. It was pretty close in there. First of all, let's see the rush on him. So there he is, Kai, getting set there, and Juwan Ferguson just levels him. Phipps, great coverage, knocks the ball out, nothing doing. It's a great job, both on the front rush and on the coverage as well.
Well, Javon's off to a good start, and he has 51 family and friends watching today live here at Aggie Memorial, all the way from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Returnable punt for O.J. Clark. And the Aggies will start near the 25-yard line. 34-yard punt, a low one again for Mitchell Crawford.
Okay, Adam, I'm not trying to get a little greedy, but you know, when O.J. touched the ball there, I'm thinking, oh, we got it. We're going to take this one to the house, and almost broke it.
Aggies ahead 7-0 on a 39-yard touchdown run for Jason Huntley. Their 3rd offensive possession when you come back. We'll see if the Aggies can duplicate their last offensive possession when they only needed 4 plays, resulting in a 39-yard touchdown run for Huntley, which was his 7th in his previous 8 games. Adkins so far 5 of 6 for 36, no touchdowns, no picks. It was bonus in motion. They pitch it to Christian Gibson, who's coming off his best game all year. Only had 14 carries last week, but he ran for $115 in his first touchdown. And it brings up 2nd down and 9 yards to go.
You know, Huntley and Gibson run so hard. Every time they touch the ball, every single yard, they'll just get it. They just won't let anything on the field. It's just 100% effort every time, and I love that.
Atkins looking left. Now he rolls right. He has plenty of time to throw, but he has to throw it out of bounds. Pressure came late by UTEP from Jason Van Hook, the redshirt junior middle linebacker.
So not a lot happening there. We see Josh kind of keep the play alive with his legs. You know, it felt like there could have been something he could have forced it in there, but if you look downfield, both those guys are pretty covered. And rather than just say, let me just try to pump it in there, oh, I hope he's okay, a little stumble. He said, let me just throw it out of bounds and come back here. That's a sign of maturity, and I like that.
Atkins hasn't thrown a pick in the previous 2 games. He goes underneath to Tony Nicholson, who's trying to make something happen here on 3rd down. And the Aggies will have to punt for the 2nd time today.
Yeah, that series coming back out of that break there, it just didn't feel like there was a lot happening. It just felt uncomfortable there. Everything's downfield, nothing is open, and so you dump it off, and there's just lots of UTEP defenders there, lots of people to the ball, lots of hats on the ball, and you just have to punt it away.
And there's Justin Garrett receiving the punt from Theisler. Garrett calls for a fair catch. It bounces for an Aggie bounce. Juwan Price was right there, and now it's going to be downed inside the 30 by Jared Phipps. So a good punt again for Theisler. This one 43 yards for the senior out of Phoenix.
You know, that's a piece of the game that we don't talk much about, but punting is important because what happens is it flips the field. So now you're deep in your own territory. Now you end up flipping the field, and now the offense, UTEP's offense, has a long way to go. So it's important to have a good punter that can get the ball out of there, and he did a great job, as usual. Great career.
Aggie head coach Doug Martin felt like last week was the best defensive game the Aggies have played all year, and they're off to a good start here today, late in the 1st quarter. Loxley, the quarterback, still for UTEP. We believe at some point today they will use Gavin Hardison, who was good in a reserve role last week, filling in for Loxley, who struggled early. He's been better early today. 6-yard pickup on the 1st down run for Trayvon Hughes, the senior running back from Carrollton, Texas. Hughes is an interesting story. He began his career as a running back, then he switched to linebacker. That's how big he is. And he moved back to running back. Made 6 starts 2 years ago at linebacker for UTEP. Switched back to running back a year ago. 235-pound back. Design run for the quarterback, Loxley, who explodes across midfield using his long, lanky frame and the big 6'4" signal caller into Aggie territory.
Yeah, I think that's where Kai will really make you pay. If you don't have, we talked about in the keys of the game, if you don't have anyone spying him, that he can have a jailbreak like this. So Javon Ferguson was maybe the spy guy and got picked up, and so what happens if you pick that guy up, he's into the 3rd level easy, and he's very quick, very fast, and he can make you pay.
28-yard scamper for Loxley, who has more rushing touchdowns than passing touchdowns this year. 4 on the ground for Loxley, only 3 through the air. This is Hughes again, who pulls some tacklers across the 30. He was pulling Brennan Davis with him. 8-yard pickup for Hughes, who's been getting the bulk of the carries again for the Miners.
That's just straight up smash mouth football, right? It's like our offensive line against your defensive front, and if we move you back, and they did these last 2 plays, it allows them to push into the 2nd and 3rd level and get some extra yardage.
Loxley will look to his sideline and then change the play call. Only 2 wide receivers in for the Miners. Whistle blown.
That is the end of the
first quarter. Looks like the Aggies called a timeout. Timeout was called. The Aggies did not like the look, and we'll break. Check that. End of the 1st quarter. End of the 1st quarter. 7-0 Aggies here in Las Cruces. 60-degree afternoon here in Las Cruces at Aggie Memorial Stadium. 7-0 Aggies at the end of 1 quarter. Miners are driving, though, after a 28-yard run by Kai Loxley. And today's game is sponsored by Wells Fargo. Your thoughts on that first quarter, Danny?
Well, all's good defensively except for 2 big plays, the last running play and then the jailbreak from Kai Loxley. Other than that, we're really doing quite well offensively. We got it going early on, and then late in the first quarter, we kind of stalled a little bit, but need to get back on offense and see what's clicking there. But a good game so far.
Loxley using his legs so far to help out the Miners offensively. 28-yard run just moments ago. Trayvon Hughes, 5 carries, 14 yards. Loxley designed to run again, looking for a hole, and he's upended in the Aggies secondary by Chance Cook, but he still gets 7. He's big, he runs well, and he has been a really good running quarterback his entire career for the Miners. Yeah,
he's a tough runner, especially gets to open field, and he's sitting there patiently seeing what happens in there. And I know from a linebacker standpoint, we had a couple guys really step into the hole as they should, and he waited for that to happen, and he stepped around them quickly. So he's being very patient in there.
And Loxley will look to his sideline and change the play call again. Gives it off to Hughes. Hughes cuts up field, bouncing off tackles. And Hughes will drag some guys inside the 15 all the way down to the 14-yard line. He's tough to take down at 235 pounds.
Yeah, he's a load, no doubt about it. But Matt Young seemed like he was the guy on that. It looked like a kind of a run-pass option in there for Kai. And you could see it coming to your left side of your screen there. And Matt just kind of over-pursued or went over top, and he cut underneath him for some extra yards in there. So Matt just slows down just a hair. He'll be ready to make that tackle right there. But got positive yards, so here they are. Got to dig your heels in.
Miners had only 93 total yards of offense in the first half, and a big bulk of that was on the 28-yard run by Loxley. Trayvon Hughes will stay in to Loxley's left. Loxley will run right, not much there. The Aggies able to read this one. And once again, it is Javon Ferguson who leads the Aggies defensively for the tackle. Currently, Javon Ferguson 5th nationally in tackles per game. He had 111 coming in.
No, that's last year had 132 tackles on the year, so he's got a few more this game or another game to see if he can get that 132 mark. But in any case, those are big numbers right there.
First down for the Miners, 10 yards to go. They need the 1 to get a first down. They are at the 11. On the ground for Hughes. Hughes to the right side. Hughes inside the pylon, and he has a touchdown. The 12th rushing touchdown this year for Hughes, which is top 20 nationally.
You know, that's just a case of smash mouth football right there. So they run right at him. You blow everyone off the defensive line of scrimmage, and you'll see it right here moving to the left of your screen. Everyone's pushed back. They create a little aisle in there, and he just pushes actually steps right into there. Easy day.
Point after from sophomore Gavin Beckley. Out of the hold of the punter, Mitchell Crawford, and we are tied at 7-7. So rushing touchdowns for Huntley and Hughes. The teams have been pretty good on the ground so far. We figure, as it usually is, that this one should be a close one. It was close last year with the Aggies winning 27-20 in El Paso. And the Miners able to match the Aggies scoring at 7-7 early on in quarter 2.
Well, it looks like the Miners found something in that last series there, right at the end of the first quarter and in the beginning of the second quarter, where they came out just rushing the ball.
This was 1 year ago in El Paso. It was the first career start for Josh Adkins. Loxley was the quarterback then as well for the Miners, and this was a scoop and score for Malik Demby. The Aggies got a defensive touchdown, and it was a close one all day at the Sun Bowl. 27-20 the final score. Adkins managed the game very well. He only had to throw 18 passes. This was a touchdown catch by then senior Royce Caldwell. And Adkins led the Aggies to a victory in his first collegiate start as a freshman. And now he gets his second taste of this rivalry here today. The Aggies will get a return on the kickoff. Former All-Big 12 punt returner Tony Nicholson on the kickoff is up near the 30. There's some extracurriculars after the kickoff, and the officials will separate the two teams, and the Aggies will start just inside the 30. They're going to mark it at the 29-yard line for the Aggies' offensive possession.
Well, Adam, let's see if the offense could get something going to find that rhythm that they had from the early first quarter. I'm not sure what changed. I'm not sure if there was any. We'll keep an eye on the defense and see what adjustments they made. But let's see if they can get something happen. It's important that Josh doesn't try to overachieve and do something to counteract that score they just had here. But just stay within himself and move it down the field.
They will go to Jason Huntley, and he runs right into 3 or 4 Miners. Among them was Justin Rogers, free safety, who is currently second on the team in tackles for UTEP.
Yeah, so a little kind of a stretch zone in there, and you can kind of see all the Miners in there. They're really fired up. They had a lot of hats on the ball and pushed them back.
They actually picked up Jason Huntley, it looks like. Huntley explodes through a hole. Jason Huntley to the far side of the field. He's into Miner territory. It's a foot race for Huntley, and he's drug out of bounds by Michael Lewis, the star senior safety who saved a touchdown.
Wow, that's the only thing I can say. You know, coming off a play where you're stuffed or you actually push backwards, here's a case where you pour it up in there and you cut back against the grain and takes it to the outside, and once he's in the open, it's a foot race and he's off to the races. Another big day for Huntley.
57-yard run for Huntley, his longest this year. His previous long was 56. The Aggies will go to Christian Gibson. Not much there for Gibson on the first down carry. Big day for Huntley. Big year for Jason Huntley, who is finishing his college career strong. And now he's going to get a breather as he heads off. He was a wide receiver in the previous play, and Gibson will stay in as the tailback. Ball is at the 13-yard line. Atkins sacked. He's dropped by Ortega. Josh Ortega with his second sack this year. Young man from El Paso, Montwood High School.
Yeah, kind of a play action pass in here, and you're seeing if there's anything happening downfield. Everyone's covered, but more importantly, our pocket just fell apart and gives up a sack.
All the way back to the 18-yard line. Third down, 14 yards to go. O.J. Clark can't break a tackle at the 14. If he does right there, he maybe would have got the first down. We'll see. Yeah, I think Clark initially thought he wasn't down, but he was. So the Aggies will attempt a field goal. Clark was trying to stay, he was still on his feet, but he was down in the play, and the Aggies will attempt a field goal. 32-yarder for Dylan Brown, and Brown hooks it, no good. Misses from 32. Missed from 36 a week ago. Last week he was 2 for 3, and Brown misses his 5th field goal this year. It stays 7-7 here in quarter 2. Some young fans watching this one today. The Aggies and the Miners both looking for their second win of the season. Miners, of course, in the Conference USA. The Aggies independent. Jason Huntley did all he could in that drive, Danny, that results in a missed field goal for Dylan Brown. Huntley with a 57-yard run during the drive, and that one stings a little bit when you can't punch it in.
That's a missed opportunity, right? You run 57 yards downfield, you almost take it to the house, and you're down there inside red zone, and you can't get any points out of it. That one hurts.
So far, so good for Doug Martin's team turnover-wise, and Doug said this week at the radio coaches show, he said, it's tough when you score 41 points, you win the game, and you're still a little displeased by your performance a week ago. And Doug said he was displeased by the performance because the Aggies committed 3 turnovers. They had 3 fumbles last week. Mills had 1, Jason Huntley had 1, and Christian Gibson had the other. But so far, so good. The Aggies have not committed a turnover in the game. Right back to Trayvon Hughes. That is carry number 8 for the big running back out of Carrollton, Texas. This one, he gains 4.
I think they're just staying with that run. They're thinking if they could get, 3 or 4 yards, 5 yards on a carry, they'll be doing good. Aggies that time, good gap attention. Everyone was where they should be, and I think that was Matt Young finishing that tackle off.
Kai Loxley starting today. Gavin Hardison was really good last week in a reserve role. We think we may see Hardison at some point today, but Loxley has played pretty well, especially on the ground using his legs. Loxley will use his legs again as he bounces to the outside before he's bulldozed out of bounds by Chance Cook. He's tough to take down, Danny, and he's pretty fast for 6'4".
He is very quick and very fast out there, so he's patient, and if you can't get in the backfield and make something happen, let's see how he sits back there and waits for something to open up. In this case, he's trying to get outside Davis, and he does, and then he turns it into very big positive yardage. That's Brendan Davis kind of pitching in there from Devin Richardson, who's not on the field. Had a good game last week, but those are his. He has to step up and got to make a play on those.
Loxley gets 10 yards on the run. He had a 28-yard run earlier. He was very good against the Aggies through the air in El Paso last year. Here today, it's been on the ground for Loxley. He goes to the air to his big tight end, Jess Trussell. He hauls it in, his 12th catch this year. Grad transfer from Purdue, a pickup of 19 yards.
So we dial up a little blitz on them, and so you coming in hard after him. Got Ferguson back. He dumps it over Ferguson's head in front of Cook. Chance makes a good tackle on it. But the whole objective here is to get the ball out of Loxley's hand as fast as possible because they know that Spaziani will come with a blitz, and he did.
Trussell played in 22 career games at Purdue. He had no catches. He was a blocking tight end. He's been used in the passing game for Dana Dimmel this year. Hughes, the running back. Loxley will look to his sideline again for the play call. 7.5 left here in half one. They swing it to the, making a move and making a man miss is Jacob Cowing, the impressive freshman wide receiver from Maricopa, Arizona.
Yeah, Cowing was one of our impact players to keep your eye on. Had a big last week with 5 receptions, 85 yards. But you see from an Aggie defensive perspective, see, that's called over-pursuing, where you run past the guy, you don't break down in there. And that's what happened. That was Rodney McCray back there. Just got to break down a little bit and not over-pursue that.
14-yard catch and run for Cowing, his first reception today. And here is Hughes, taken down from behind by Roy Lopez, his first tackle this afternoon. Lopez playing in his final game of the season because of the redshirt rules. Lopez playing in his 4th. He will redshirt. He did not go through senior day stuff earlier. He will be back for another year next year. Only 4 yards on the carry, so 2nd down and 6 for UTEP as they're driving once again, looking to take a lead here in the second quarter. Loxley will wait for his blockers, waits for a hole. He is speared by Rodney McGraw and Javon Ferguson, but it's a quality pickup again, and it's good enough to move the chains for Loxley and UTEP.
Yeah, that's just patience in there on those plays where you're just having a zone blocking up front, and you're looking for any hole, and so he's patient. There's zone blocking up front. He sees one hole. We have linebackers darting into the gap like they should, but he's able to just sneak around them. He's just kind of shifty like that.
Tight end Trent Thompson is in. He's used as an H-back here to block for the running back Hughes. And there's nothing there on the run for Hughes. But he's trying to get a couple extra, which he does, up to the 20. He stayed on his feet, and instead of no gain, he gets 2.
Yeah, this is Kai Loxley's doing a good job back there. So when he's running the ball, he's getting positive yards at it. When he's throwing the ball is out of his hands quickly. Last week, he had an interception. Maybe that kind of what Coach said, let's try something different. This week, hadn't thrown the ball too much, but when he has, he's thrown it quite well.
New running back is Reynaldo Flores, who only has 9 carries this year, sophomore from El Paso. He's to the left of Loxley. H back to the right of Loxley is Thompson. Big 255 sophomore out of Houston. Loxley going for the end zone. Incomplete. Threw it behind him. Looking for Cowing. Cook and McGraw are right there in coverage as Rodney says, nope, not over here.
Yeah, that had nothing but disaster written all over it. Had a lot of pressure on Loxley too, and anything that's going to take some time, I think the Aggie defensive line and any blitz that we have coming is going to get to Loxley. See him right there, push all the way back in there. Great coverage. Almost picked off if he wasn't just running so hard past that thing. The ball was certainly thrown behind.
UTEP 3 for 16 on third down the last 2 weeks, including this week. Third down, 8 yards to go. Aggie fans into it. Good crowd today for a late November rivalry game. And the Miners want a timeout.
Timeout, UTEP, their first. It will be 30 seconds.
Touchdown runs for Huntley and Hughes. Missed field goal for Brown, and now a big third down is upcoming, Danny.
Yeah, this is a big third down right here. So a good timeout, well, for both sides actually, because now you can really see what's going on and see what kind of defense they're into and see where they want to kind of run the ball. They've had good positive action running the football, you know, picking up 6, 7, 8 yards at an easy step, throwing the ball deep, a little harder, throwing the ball quick, a little easier. So it could be a run-pass option where they're going to try to get rid of the ball quickly.
Already 54 yards on the ground for Loxley, 44 for Hughes. Defensively for the Aggies last week, they allowed a season-low 39 rushing yards against UIW. Miners have kind of had their way on the ground so far. They're probably going to have to pass here on third down and 8. Play clock is under 10. Loxley looks left, fires left, hauled in. Cowing again, but he will be short by about 3 yards of the marker. So now we'll see Gavin Beckley try to give the Miners a lead after Aggie kicker Dylan Brown missed from 32.
Lots of pressure on Loxley that last play, and he had to get rid of the ball quickly, and just not enough for that first down.
Beckley, only a sophomore from McKinney, Texas, 9 for 10 this year. His only miss came from 47 early on this year in Lubbock at Texas Tech. This one from 33, and it is good for Beckley. Miners with their first lead today. 10 points unanswered for UTEP, 10-7 here in the 97th all-time meeting in the Battle of I-10. Adam Young along with Danny Nee. Both teams come in at 1-9, really needing a win. And if you're the Aggies, Danny, and you find a way to get a win today, that's 2 straight. And then you feel really good here on the tail end of the season.
Yeah, I think even though that the middle didn't go quite the way you thought it would, it's still important that you finish strong. And if you can pick up a couple of wins, that goes well. That bodes well going into the next season for sure. Got their hands full now, though.
And they do. They officially call it a 34-yard made field goal by Beckley. 10 straight for the Miners. Nicholson got a return earlier. They're trying to kick it away from Huntley, and they do so again. This is returnable for Tony Nicholson. Nicholson will cut up field, and he gets past the 20 up to the 22.
Adam, I almost want to say, let's see if the offense can get something going. But the last series, they got something going. You know, they ran it one time, nothing. Then they broke Huntley for 57-yarder. So I'm not sure what else they need to do. But certainly going with the run and keeping with it and not giving up on it is important.
Already 114 yards rushing for Huntley on just 5 carries. He's averaging 23 a carry. He averages 6.5 a carry for the year. Deep shot for Atkins, and he misses his target. That was Robert Downs III, who last week had 6 catches, which tied for the team lead.
You know, he throws the ball, good coverage in here, so he has to get rid of the ball, little pressure there. He throws the ball before Downs came out of his cut, out of his pattern, so the timing just was off just a little bit, but that pass is open, so I'm sure coach is marking that, and he'll come back to it.
Aggies go with an empty backfield, 5 out wide. Good job by the offensive line, a pump fake and then an overthrow for Atkins. This time he was looking for O.J. Clark, who gets into a shouting match and a little bit of a pushing match right there with Michael Lewis, the safety.
Well, it looks like he was open. This looks like the ball kind of drifted on him there. You know, had to kind of keep things alive with his legs a little bit, and so there he is, a pump fake in there. But it looks like, did O.J. Clark slip a little bit? Maybe he slipped a little bit.
He might have.
Get a little chippy there, wasn't it?
Welcome to the rivalry, right? Pressure, and Atkins throws it away. Heavy pressure there for the Miners. Ortega, who had a sack earlier, was among the 2.
Well, interesting that the Ags came out after running the ball so well and coming out with 3 passes straight away. You know, had a couple misses in there. This one, lots of blitzing, nothing he could do with it, so he gets rid of the ball, so give your punter enough room to punt the ball away. But you know, it's just interesting dynamics where you ran the ball well and then you came back out and threw it, but maybe coach saw something he wanted to get to.
Yeah, I'm sure if you're looking at the stats here, you need to see Huntley have at least 1 carry during that drive. He has 114 yards on 5 carries and does not get a touch during that 4 and out. Justin Garrett will haul it in, breaks a tackle, and then he's shoved out of bounds. But it will be good field position for UTEP near midfield, and we get some pushing and some shoving on the Miners sideline, and the Miners coaches will get things under control. 4 minutes left in half 1. 10 unanswered for the Miners after a touchdown run for Jason Huntley. 39-yard punt, 3-yard return. Aggies looking for their 3rd straight win against the Miners. 41-14 home win 2 years ago. 27-20 road win in the Sun Bowl in El Paso last year. And now this year, the Aggies trying to make it 3 straight wins. And Aggie head coach Doug Martin spoke about the winning streak the Aggies have in this rivalry into today's game.
You know, the New Mexico and the UTEP games are always one of our main goals for every team. So that's preached around here from day one, and I'm sure it is their place too. So, you know, that's the way rival games are, and it's always big. So, you know, for our seniors, this could be the 3rd win against UTEP, and that would be huge for a senior class. I don't think there's many senior classes at New Mexico State that have ever done that. So, you know, they got a chance to do something really big here.
The last 3-game win streak for the Aggies in the Battle of I-10 came from 1993 through 1995, so they really have a chance to do something special here today. Time of possession, 16-plus minutes for the Miners, only 9 minutes for the Aggies. Loxley still has the football. He'll loft it downfield, juggled and then caught by Justin Garrett, and he takes 3 Aggies with him.
Wow. You know, the time of possession, first of all, the time of possession is that's what happens when you run the ball a lot. In this case here, this is a great play. So Kai comes out here, kind of fakes like he's going to run the ball, which draws everyone up, but he steps up and just dumps that thing in there. That's a nice little design play and big yardage.
35-yard connection. Loxley 54 on the ground, so the Aggies probably figured he would keep the football and run. Through the air, Loxley 8 of 12 for a $113. Only had 871 passing yards in 9 games coming in. Josh Fields with a hole on the outside. Josh Fields to the sideline, and he's pushed out of bounds inside the 10. 1st and goal for the Miners.
You know, I see him come back to that. This is about the 3rd or 4th time they've run that play, and it's wide open in there. So their power, everything's set to the left, making it look like they're going to the left, but in fact they're going to the weak side. They're going to the right. In that case, it was the weak side, and it just creates a big open seam in there because there's not as many defenders in there.
2 carries for 30 yards for Fields, the junior out of El Paso. There are 23 El Paso natives on the UTEP roster. Pistol back is Fields. They turn and they hand it off to him. Fields runs right into the Aggie defense, and Cedric Wilcott, who gets credit for the tackle. It is a gain of just 1 yard for Fields.
Yeah, stuffing that run is going to be important here because that's what they're going to go to. They're going to keep with it because they've been so successful. And then look maybe for a little pop pass, but certainly it's going to be maybe a run pass option to have 2 guys wide.
2nd down and goal from the 6. Loxley has stayed patient all day trying to read this Aggie defense. Trayvon Hughes dragging the Aggies with him. And finally he's taken down by Brennan Davis. All the way down to the 3. He gets 3, 3rd and goal from the 3.
Well, Hughes is a strong running back. You know, at 235, he's dragging guys in there. So Aggies have a good defense. So everyone's in their gaps, good gap containment. But he drags people 2 or 3 yards in there.
Timeout, New Mexico. Their first. It will be 30 seconds. Please reset the game clock to 1:37.
Timeout called by the Aggies. The game clock currently reads 1:30. They're going to reset it to 1:37 with a big 3rd down coming up.
It's a big, I like the timeout too, by the way. Can you see what UTEP is doing though? When you see some of those replays, you see what happens. They come out in this big power formation and the Aggies are stepping up like if they're going to blitz from the power side, and then Loxley will step up, look up, he'll look to the sidelines, and they'll change the play to figure out where the Aggies are lining up and then run the play to the side that's the weakest. It's a game that's played on TV, college football all the time, but it's working quite well here, and so the Aggies haven't found a way to stop that. One way is to get a good push from that defensive line up front. Those big Bubbas got to really penetrate into the backfield.
1:37 left. Javon Ferguson trying to get the crowd into it. Final home game in senior day. Trayvon Hughes to the left of Loxley. Wolf and Cowing top side of the screen. Bottom side is Busey at wide receiver. Loxley fade around, batted away. Shimon Lomax in coverage.
And that's great coverage right there by Shimon. There was nothing happening. He was all over him. I don't think their UTEP guy was asking for, hey, I need something there. Got a little pushing and shoving, but there's nearly not. And so Lomax had great coverage, turns around, easily wipes that ball away with his left hand. That's a great stand right there for the Aggie defense.
Well, Loxley's going off the field, but I think he wanted to stay out there and go for it on 4th and goal from the 3. Instead, the Miners will have to kick a field goal. And this really bites if you're the UTEP offense when you were yards away from going ahead by 10.
Looks like Lomax got a little limp there. Hopefully he'll be okay and get back on the field.
"21-yarder here for Beckley, who made from 34 moments ago. And the kick is good. So 2 made field goals in the quarter for Gavin Beckley. But it's still a 1-possession game. That's big. That stop there for the Aggie defense, holding the Miners to a field goal, Danny.
Yep, and then we got it was a good stand defensively, and it is just a 1-possession game. It feels like it should be a lot more, but it's not. It's just a 1-possession game. But there is a flag on the play as well. There was something after. I don't know if something was going on, but there's the flag. There's the flag.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, UTEP, number 15. Penalty being enforced on the kickoff.
Never saw it. But what that does do is that'll hopefully give the Aggies a little bit of better field position with 124, 129 left to be able to make a 2-minute drive, see if they can put some points on the board here.
Yeah, this could be costly for UTEP. You're already trying to kick away from Jason Huntley, and now you're pushed back even further on the kickoff. A lot of penalties on both sides today. There you see it, 6 plays, 58 yards, a field goal make for Beckley. 13 unanswered now for the Miners, but the Aggies with a lot of time left to score late in the first half. Remember, the Miners won the toss today, but chose to defer. And not good news for the Aggies. Shimon Lomax is heading to the Aggie locker room. There you see him right there. The Aggies already a little banged up at cornerback. Komote Kofi, who backs up Shimon at the back cornerback position, he's done for the year with an injury. So the Aggies already thin at cornerback, and now they might be without Lomax going forward. We'll see. This is Tony Nicholson again, and he is submarined in midair up near the 40-yard line. Good field position, though, as we expected. Joe J. Smith makes the tackle on special teams for UTEP. What do you need to see here from the Aggie offense, Danny? Do you need to feed Huntley more?
You do a little bit. You got to know where you are in the clock, right? So you got a minute 29 left, or 24. You got, some time. You have some timeouts, but you also have to run the ball a little bit, so you're just not going to go 3 passes and turn it over if you don't complete them.
The Aggies fake it to Huntley. Good block for Jason Huntley. And the pass is complete to O.J. Clark near the sticks for a gain of 10.
And we talked about Kai and how calm and collective he's in the backfield. Josh, lots of patience in there, right? People falling down all around him. Look at him canvassing the field, looking at his first, second, have someone crossing across the field there. Enough composure, makes a great pass.
Empty backfield. Huntley is in at wide receiver. Incomplete. Bobbled and dropped by Tony Nicholson. Right there in coverage was free safety Justin Rogers in a one-on-one situation.
It doesn't usually happen that way where it hits both his hands and he doesn't pull it down there. You take a shot. I like taking a shot. He has him beat. He's got him. The ball's over top. That's a great throwing ball right there. You just can't pull that in.
2nd down and 10. The Aggies will run it with Huntley. He gets a big burst down the far sideline. He's gone again. Jason Huntley, the All-American. 2nd rushing touchdown this afternoon.
Hey, here we go. Give him the ball. When in doubt, go to your best runner over your best blockers and let him take it to the house. And that's exactly what Huntley did. That's a great job right there. Look at the blocking. Great blocking. Breaks into the secondary. Great blocking by the receivers there. And he just takes it onto the house. And that closes it down in a hurry, doesn't it? That's a great job by Huntley.
And the extra point is good from Dylan Brown. And the Aggies have a lead. 2 rushing touchdowns today for Jason Huntley. That's the difference in this football game right now.
Yeah, I know, Adam, you talked about it. Maybe even called it right before that happens here. You said, does Huntley have to touch the ball once, at least coming into this? And I guess the answer is yes. When you look at that right there, he touches the ball. And not only does he touch the ball, but he takes it to the house. That's Huntley keeping us in this game. That's a great job. Great blocking as well up there. Look at the blocking up front. Look at the hole. Great big hole in there blocking. Good blocking downfield by the receivers. And it's just Huntley right there. No one left.
How about these numbers today for Jason Huntley? 6 carries, 167 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
He almost has as many yards in the first half as he had the whole game last week. Have to get that boy some oxygen at halftime.
Kickoff from Dylan Brown with under a minute left here in the first half, and this one is through the end zone. Danny, you're not on Twitter, are you?
No.
So on Twitter this week, Jason Huntley said, I'm thinking 210 yards and 3 touchdowns for my last college home game. I think he was selling himself short. He's well on his way to 210 and more than 3 scores.
Let me just say that's awful big to think that way, but maybe that's what you have to do. You have to think big, and those are big numbers, and he's putting them up there. The thing about scoring so quickly, you always want to score, but you're still leaving UTEP with 55 seconds on the clock here, so defenses have to hold their ground as well.
Still 55 seconds left for Loxley. UTEP will start with the football in half 2. Aggie defense looking for a big stop here to finish off the half. Hughes taken down by Javon Ferguson, who's playing a great half in front of 50-plus family and friends here today.
Here's a defense, every gap contained, nothing happening in there. Ferguson makes a great tackle, and what finishes off a great tackle right there is you pull both legs in and you hold on tight. He's going nowhere no matter how big and strong you are, and they have big, strong running backs. Javon Ferguson has just got it going on.
4-6.
Civil engineering degree, full-time student, big numbers tackling. What a great career.
He spoke a lot the last 2 weeks, Danny, about consistency, and he said that's what I've been preaching the last couple of years, is just trying to be consistent in practice every day, and then it carries over to the football field, and he has been Mr. Consistent this year. If you know Javon Ferguson, you know how good he is on the field and how great he is off the field, too. He's been a great ambassador for this program the last 4 years. Trying to leave a legacy, and he's doing that for sure. He talked a lot this week about previous linebackers in this program like Dalton Harrington and Terrell Hanks, who really left a legacy. And he's trying to do the same for future Aggies and future linebackers like Devin Richardson and Rashi Hodge Jr. in this program.
You know, as we've talked before the game, Adam, our linebacking core is one of the most impressive group that I've seen. Our defense in general has done really quite well, but the one group that's really stepped it up this year, I think it's our linebackers, without a doubt. Devin Richardson, Javon Ferguson, Rashi Hodge, those guys will put the leather to you, and I am so impressed by them.
And the Miners choose not to snap it. They will just head to the locker room. And we have ourselves a dandy. 14-13, the Aggies ahead by 1. There was a missed field goal by Dylan Brown, but 2 rushing touchdowns in the first half for Jason Huntley, who ran for 167 on 6 carries. 252 yards of offense for the Miners, 222 for the Aggies so far. Aggie head coach Doug Martin is with us. Coach Adam Young, Danny Nee with you. How about Jason Huntley in the first 30?
Yeah, he's playing well. You know, we managed to get a couple of creases. Big thing, Adam, is they're really loading the box on us in the running game. We got to start completing some passes so we can keep that running game alive.
Hey, Coach Danny Nee, defense doing their job. Great defense there. Javon Ferguson having another blowout great game.
Yeah, they're doing a good job down the red zone, holding them to field goals. You know, what we need is some turnovers. You know, we've been close. We got to get a couple to help us.
All right, Coach, good luck in half
guys.
2. Aggie head coach Doug Martin, his Aggies ahead 14-13, looking for their 3rd straight win against the Miners. Halftime comes your way next. Second half action right around the corner. Adam Young, Danny Nee with you. Final telecast for us this year, Senior Day and the home finale as the Aggies look for their 2nd straight win overall and their 3rd straight against the UTEP Miners. First half stats pretty even. Neither team turned the ball over, which if you're an Aggie fan, that's really, really good news. Both teams struggled on third down, which has been the case all year for both teams, Danny.
Yeah, and if you look at the big thing is time of possession. You see 20 minutes versus 9 minutes for New Mexico State. All of Wet just says that, hey, they've been running the ball quite well, and they have. They've got their running game going behind Loxley and a few others. So that's really the big difference here. Passing, we talked about passing at halftime. They're going to have to throw a little bit in there. 170 yards. I think Huntley has 167 of those or something like that.
Yeah, 167 for Huntley, 8 for Gibson, -5 for the quarterback, Josh Atkins. 23 seniors were honored before the game today, including Peyton Theisler, the Aggie punter, a 4-year starter, Chase and Huntley, going through the senior day ceremonies before the game today, and now he's turned out big time. Cedric Wilcox, who's been one of the best defensive linemen in program history, 19.5 career sacks for Wilcox, and there is O.J. Clark. Doug Martin said this week, he said, in all my years of coaching, O.J. Clark is top 5 in my favorite players of all time, and there's Shamad Lomax, who's had a great career. That's some high praise for O.J.
That is really high praise, and I like that. I like that coach is able to step out and say, hey, look, this guy has done great things, and I think he's a fantastic player, student athlete.
What a career Shamad Lomax has had, 7 career interceptions. We'll see if he's good to go for half 2. He did go to the locker room before the team with about 90 seconds left in the first half because of an injury. So we'll see if Lomax is out there. Now, Austin Perkins will be out there for half 2. Remember last week, Perkins was ejected for targeting, which meant he would miss the first half today. So he was unavailable for the first half today. He can start half 2. So we'll see how this affects Perkins because everybody else has had 30 minutes. Perkins is coming in a little cold here.
Yeah, absolutely, Adam. And I do see Shamad Lomax out there, so it's good that he's returned. We'll see how he, I don't know what it was, if it was leg or what it was. We'll see if that holds out for the second half, but he is going to start the beginning of the second half.
And we'll see if the Aggies can stop this UTEP Miners run attack in the second half. Loxley will choose to pass it a slant route. The Aggies thought he would run, and it's hauled in by Justin Garrett, his second catch today, and both have been big gainers for him.
Yeah, little fake run pass quick out the blocks, and so that's tough. And then they come back and have some tempo, and they're really trying to get something going fast. That
start.
Fake
Offense number 76, 5-yard penalty, first down.
That fake run pass, Adam, is very tough because when Loxley, as quick as he is, if he's going to fake like he's coming out there, you have to respect that, and you close in. And the minute you step towards him, he steps up and just dumps that ball over top of the linebackers. That's a nice little play. We'll have to see what the Aggies can do to kind of combat that.
False start was called on Darda Lee, left tackle for the Miners, who started his college career at Illinois, made 2 starts for the Fighting Illini back in 2016.
You saw Roy Lopez there. That's one way to combat that thing is you get pressure up front.
Loxley throws, tight end Jess Trussell. The Aggies clearly confused right now whether Loxley's going to run it or throw it. He has the Aggies on their heels.
And that's a run-pass option in there. It looks like he's getting up a little slow. But that pass was wide open. There was no one left there. So here he is coming up there, faking the run. There's the 2 linebackers you saw on the bottom left of your screen, which left your tight end wide open, no one left. And there he is, Perkins coming back. The second half makes that first tackle. Not sure how he got tangled up in there, but something.
Second catch today for the Purdue grad transfer, Trussell, who heads off. That one picks up 24. And the Miners moving the ball just fine to start this half. The Aggies led 7-0, then the Miners led 13-7 before a late touchdown run by Huntley again. Motion man is the freshman Cowing. Running back is Trayvon Hughes, and Cedric Wilcox stuffs him on the Aggie D-line.
Cedric comes in there, and he's got those. We talked about his long wingspan before, but he reaches out there and holds on. And you see him here from the right of your screen come across there. Makes a tackle. Assisted there by Mr. Young. Great job right there. And he's still getting a little pushy out there with Brennan Davis.
Matt Young last week had 1.5 tackles for loss and 1.5 sacks. He's been outstanding the previous couple of weeks. Loxley 10 of 15 through the air, 158. On the ground, 61 yards, 8 carries, an average of 8 per carry. And then you also have Hughes to worry about as well. So it's Loxley and Hughes who are both running the ball very effectively against this Aggie defense in the first 2 quarters plus.
It's a cat and mouse in there, right? So you come out there in a defense, your set defense, they come out in an offensive look. They look back to the sideline, see if they can make adjustments. They make adjustments. Aggies make adjustments. Now it's a chess game to see who's going to make the first mistake. And the first mistake can cause you a touchdown, so you have to be careful.
3rd down, the Miners need the 25-yard line. This is interesting territory right now for the Miners if they do not convert here on 3rd down. They've struggled on 3rd down today. Reynaldo Flores, the seldom used running back. He's going to finish well short of the 1st down. Flores with his first carry today, just his 10th this year. He's also from El Paso.
Well, good pursuit there, but we also had Jared Phipps who comes screaming in there, and he almost gets taken out by his own guys, but he is really setting the edge to not let them get to the outside. He gets the whole traffic that just runs over him, but he makes a great stop. He's going to cause him to kick a deep field goal in there. That's a great stop by Jared.
This will be a 47-yarder for Gavin Beckley. His long so far is only 46. He's missed from 47 this year. That's his only miss. The kick for Beckley, no good by a mile. His second miss from 47. The other was against Texas Tech early this year. So he's only had 2 misses, both from 47. And it's Aggie football when you come back to Aggie Memorial. Live look of the Aggie campus here in Las Cruces, 14-13. The Aggies ahead by 1. A missed field goal of 47 yards for Beckley. So now both kickers have missed 1 field goal. Dylan Brown missed in quarter 2 from 32 yards. And the Aggie offense back to work. Josh Atkins. So far today, Atkins 8 of 13, 52 yards. And we'll see if the Aggies can take some shots downfield here in the 3rd quarter. The Aggies have been effective on the ground, and we really should just say Jason Huntley has been effective on the ground because he has 167 of the 170 rushing yards for the Aggies. He's had some big runs today. Atkins underneath. O.J. Clark taken down immediately by middle linebacker Jason Van Hook, and immediately Clark goes off the field. He might have been injured.
Yeah, it looks like something got caught in his ankle or something there. He also had Gibson, as you can see him kind of grimacing at the ankle. Well, he also had Gibson out of the backfield that was wide open as well. So there's a couple of guys to go to.
Terrell Warner replaces O.J. Clark. Huntley spins, and then he's spun down on the tackle by Adrian Henson. Some big explosive plays today for Huntley. He has a couple of long runs of 57 and 53.
And that's too bad. That was a look at O.J. Clark. They were going to pull the tent over and see what's happening with that leg there. But got other receivers they can go to.
The Aggies need the 39-yard line. Atkins will swing it out to Huntley. Huntley makes a man miss. Jason Huntley will still be short of the 1st down, though. It looks like by yards. Gets 4 yards, almost got there. And now the Aggies will have to bring out Theisler.
So here it is here. That looks like he's going right to him right away. So he didn't even look downfield. So it must have been said, just dump it off to Huntley, let him go get some positive yards in there. Coaches must have seen something that they could get Huntley to the outside. And if you can't get him to the outside and get the corner, he is off to the races. But he was stopped short.
Yeah, we've seen that before. When you just give Jason Huntley some space, he can really, really move and really operate. Boomer of a punt for Theisler. Garrett has to backpedal inside the 15. Garrett down the near sideline, stays on his feet, and he's wrestled out of bounds in front of the Aggies sideline by Juwan Price, a future potential start running back who's making an impact in year 1 in special teams. 14-13 Aggies early on in quarter 3. 14-13 Aggies here today in the Battle of I-10 on a senior day in the home finale. Javon Ferguson playing well on senior day with a team high 8 tackles. Today's game is sponsored by Wells Fargo. During the Theisler punt, Rodney McGraw went down with an injury. O.J. Clark also went down earlier, about a minute ago, during the Aggies' recent offensive drive. So they're dropping like flies right now. McGraw is in the tent, Clark out of the tent. We'll see if O.J. can stay in the game. Previous punt was a 51-yarder by Theisler, a 17-yard return for Justin Garrett.
That was a boomer of a punt, and we had good coverage there, but he was able to shake a couple tackles, so they got some positive yards out of that, which puts him in decent position. Still would have had him pinned, but that was a boomer of a punt.
You just saw Miners' second-year head coach, Dana Dimmel. This program has really been struggling, just 2-32 since 2017. Dana Dimmel 2-20 as the head coach. His quarterback's a senior, Kai Loxley. It was a game-time decision for Dana Dimmel. Doug Martin said all week they're going to go with Loxley. He figured they would, and Gavin Hardison, who was great in a reserve role last week, has not been used yet for UTEP. Loxley has played well. And he's played well for the second straight year against the Aggies. He threw for a season-high 194 in El Paso against the Aggies last year. He gives it to Hughes. Hughes gets to the second level. Rashi Hodge Jr., among others, on the tackle.
And he is a load, right? Even when you're there and you feel the gap and you come screaming in, he's dragging people for an extra couple of yards in there. Hodge will hit you as hard as any Aggie will hit you. Have a guy right there underneath. Cedric just couldn't get a hand up there on him, but that's tough. I see that Simmons is in the game, and so that's good.
Yeah, Simmons in for Rodney McGraw, who is in the medical tent. By the way, Loxley 61 on the ground, 158 through the air. Former JUCO All-American drops back to pass. He's pressured by Cedric Wilcox. He gets rid of it. And he completes the pass to Trayshawn Wolf.
That's a good completion by Kai. Cedric had a great rush, had a little great spin move, and he's got those long arms we talked about, was in Loxley's face immediately, and he was still able to get the pass off there. Big third down right here.
They get a yard on the completion, which could turn out to be a big yard here on third down and short. Line needed is the 39. 3rd and 3. Miners 1 of 6 on a third down. Loxley rifles a pass and completes it again to Wolf, who spins loose. And he's taken down by Hodge. Just the second conversion today for the Miners on third down.
It's a great read right there. There's a breakdown in Aggie coverage, and we left a guy wide open there. It looks like we had 2 go out onto the split to the wide guy as far as we could, as the far side of the field, and we left one guy short open, and that's the guy that Loxley hit. Quick little play action to freeze the linebackers, and there's the open guy right there.
Loxley rifles it out of bounds over the head of freshman Jacob Cowing. He's known for his legs, Danny, but he has a really good arm.
He's got a great arm. We saw him complete some passes in the first half that were great across the field passes. In that case, I think he just wanted to throw that ball out of bounds because there was nothing you could do with it there. Everyone was covered, nothing happening. I think part of what the Aggies need to do is keep that pressure up front. So as long as there's good pressure by the defensive line, it doesn't give Loxley enough time to sit back there. And we don't want him to get too comfortable because he can make you pay.
Loxley's father, Mike, is currently the head coach at Maryland, had a brief stint as the head coach of UNM up the road in Albuquerque. Also the former offensive coordinator at Alabama. He goes underneath. Catch is made by Kavika Johnson. Second catch today for the former Mayfield Trojan from Las Cruces, who was a great high school quarterback, Danny.
Yeah, it's another great call right there. You have defenses that are going to get Loxley, so they were on the attack, and part of the attack meant that they let him pass and they dumped the ball over top for a screen. Great play call. Makes it interesting.
3rd and 3 for the Miners. Just inside midfield into Aggie territory. Running back to the right of Loxley is Josh Fields, who only has 3 carries, but he's gone for 31 yards. And a timeout is called by UTEP. A big 3rd down and 3 when you come back. Aggies looking for their 2nd straight win in a late November matchup here with the UTEP Miners. The Aggies and Miners meeting in November for the first time since 1969. Time now for a New Mexico State student athlete to the game. And today we recognize Josh Atkins from Aggie football and Ocean Stevens from Aggie cross country. Josh, a 392 student, majors in finance. Stevens, a 360. She majors in kinesiology. New Mexico State University. Be bold, shape the future. So not only does Josh Atkins know this Aggie offense like the back of his hand, he's also a 392 student majoring in finance. Roy Lopez is a senior, but not going through senior day festivities because he's going to redshirt, taking full advantage of the new redshirt rule where you can play in 4 games and still redshirt, and Roy missed a ton of time this year due to injury. 3rd and 3 for the Miners. We'll see if Lopez can potentially stop the run here, Danny. Three down linemen. Now the Aggies show pressure. They rush 5. Loxley diving for the first down. The spot isn't great. He might be short. He was lunging, but apparently his knee was down first.
Man, that's going to be a close one there. So here we go. We dial up a blitz because we know that something's happening quick because they only need 3 yards. Loxley has the ball. He's a good runner, and he's slippery. He can slide in there. We'll see on the mark here. And that's Brennan Davis on the tackle there. So he's stepping in where Richardson's hurt. He's playing a great game. Played a great game stepping in last week, and he's doing quite well up there now.
They're going to measure. They're going to be short. Check that. They are good. There was a little more left there in the chain.
That's a big 3rd down for them. Aggies got to dig their heels in here, see if they can't draw something up to stop that little run pass option looking thing that they've been running. It's a tough one, but they got to break that code somehow.
Dana Dimmel was calling for a first down all the way. He thought they had enough, and they did. 7 minutes left here in the 3rd quarter. Loxley back to throw. And he completes it. Trayshawn Wolf again. Jared Phipps, tackle number 9 for him today. Wolf's been busy here in half 2. He now has 5 catches to pace the Miners. This one gains 11.
We had pressure on him, but we didn't have enough where Loxley just had time to sit back in there, and he sat there long enough where someone came free. Phipps kind of fell off coverage, and as he fell off coverage, you see him kind of breaking away a little bit, just enough where Kai's able to get the ball right in there for a good first down.
3 wide receiver set. The give is to Hughes, and he is belted initially by Ferguson, but he wiggles out of that tackle and gets an extra yard or 2. He's 235 pounds. He's really tough to take down.
He's tough, and Ferguson had 1 leg, and I know he was banging his chest like, that was mine. I should have had him. But with 1 leg is all he was able to hold on to. Hughes is tough, and he keeps running. And you can see right here, Ferguson's in the right spot, so half of it's getting to the ball. The other half is making a play. Just needed to hang on a little bit longer.
Neither team has turned the ball over today. Miners don't turn it over much, only 3 total turnovers in the previous 3. The Aggies have been one of the worst in the country at committing turnovers. They played a turnover-free game. Loxley whistles a pass, far side of the field to Kavika Johnson, who came in, Danny, with only 6 catches in 10 games this year. Today he has 3 in his former hometown.
It's nice to come back to your hometown and make some catches in front of the people you grew up with here. Loxley getting the ball out of his hands quickly, dips off a little bit, not able to close it down and knock anything loose.
Third and 1. Loxley calls his own number. Loxley's going to be short. And it's going to be decision-making time for Dana Dimmel on 4th. And a yard to go.
There's Matt Young right in the middle, but again, there you see Kai trying to pick his way through there. Not a lot happening. You see some Aggies underneath there and just push him back. There's Matt making sure he doesn't lean forward for that first.
Well, the Miners this year, Danny, on 4th down, they're 16 of 22, which is 13th best nationally, and Dana Dimmel will not go for it because of the score here.
Somehow I thought he might have gone for it on that, but going to try to take the points if he can get them.
43-yard field goal straight away for Gavin Beckley. High snap, but the kick is right down the gut, and it's good for Beckley. Miners regain the lead.
Got a ball game. Momentum kind of is shifting from side to side here, and so, as close as it is right now, it could get down to a point that's going to be whoever has the ball last has a chance to win the game. There you see the kick right down the middle.
You agree with that decision, Danny, to kick the field goal and not go for it on 4th and 1?
Well, you can take the points, you get the points, and so maybe he's feeling like that's the most important thing. I think with the numbers that they had on 4th down conversions and the running that they were able to accomplish so far, I would think they would have gone for it. But you saw the last play where Kai wasn't able to get, nothing but a yard or so. So maybe at this time where it's 4 minutes left in the third quarter, take the points now, later in the game, see where it puts you.
11 plays, 46 yards, covering almost 6 minutes for UTEP. 43-yard field goal for Beckley. Beckley's been busy today. He is now 3 of 4 on field goal tries. A touchback, and the Aggies will have it at the 25-yard line. UTEP averaging 12.7 yards through the air, while the Aggies only averaging 5.3 through the air, which is unusual. You got a team that is somewhat of a variation of an air raid with the Aggies, and the Miners usually don't pass it much. And the Miners have had some success through the air, and the Aggies haven't really had a whole lot of success. O.J. Clark is back in after being injured earlier, and the Aggies go right to him. I just saw Rodney McGraw on the sidelines. It looks like Rodney is still injured. He's limping on the sidelines, but Clark is back in.
Got a little tempo. I like it.
The Aggies will throw on 1st down. It looked like there might have been a face mask, and I think there will be. Tony Nicholson with the catch.
A fistful there. On the previous pass where they've had Clark, I think, in the middle there, I think Clark had a great move and ended up just man coverage, and he just threw a fantastic move.
Face mask, defense number 13. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. 1st down.
And here's the last play right there where you can see the face mask. Quick toss outfield. Sure, got a fistful there and yanks his head around and got a penalty and moving the ball. Keep the chains moving.
Free safety Justin Rogers, the guilty party, senior out of LA. 2nd on the team in tackles this year, leads the team in fumble recoveries. Aggies go with tempo again. Deep shot downfield. Robert Downs, the third, was in a pretty good spot, and he could not reel it in. Caldwell in coverage.
Caldwell had great coverage too, by the way, but that's a stop and go route. So coach decides, let's take a shot downfield on this. So you get a stop and go route and try to dump one in deep there. Josh had a good throw. Could have been a little farther, but it was a good throw here. Great coverage up front there because you had a long route, so you have to have enough for a stop, then a go. Here's the go piece of it. Drops it in over top. Just looks like the defense had a hand in there.
Short gain for Christian Gibson, who's been quiet today, just his 4th rush. The Aggies have only carried the ball 12 times if you include 1 from Atkins. The Aggies at the 38 of UTEP, trailing by a pair. Only 76 yards passing today for Josh Atkins. Atkins going deep again. This one is caught. Jared Wyatt, his first catch in 4 weeks. First and goal for the Aggies.
Jared Wyatt made a nice catch there out of Wiley, Texas, that we're living out now. But look at the time that Josh has back there. They brought a late blitz, so Josh knew there was going to be pressure on him, but he had enough composure to sit back in there and make a great pass.
Here's Huntley trying to dance around and find a hole, and he can't do so. Michael Lewis, who leads the Miners in tackles this year, is right there on the stop.
You know, when you get down here in the red zone, it's harder to complete those runs as opposed to the long ones that Huntley has, is because they put more people in the box. And they talk about the box. It's the area right on the other side of the line of scrimmage. And if the defense lines up that has 6, 7, 8 guys in there, it's very hard to just push it in running.
Huntley lost a yard. They go right back to Huntley. Bounces off a tackle. Finds the edge. Touchdown, Jason Huntley. He has tied his career high, his 3rd rushing touchdown today.
Hey, Adam, what did he say in his tweet? How many yards did he say he was going to get?
Just over 200. I think he said 210.
Ouch, he is there.
He's close.
This is what you can do when you have speed. They have a bunch in the box like I was just talking about, and there was nothing there. But when you have speed, you don't let that stop you. He bounces to the outside. Once he gets to the outside, he sees he gets a pickup block there. He get a block downfield there from Downs, and he just walks that one in.
The Aggies choose to go for an extra point instead of a 2-point conversion, and they go ahead 21-16. He said in his tweet, Danny, I'm thinking 210 yards and 3 touchdowns for my last college home game. He has the touchdown part done. He has 3 rushing touchdowns, and he is just a little shy so far in rushing yards. He's still shy of 200, but if he's going at this rate, he should get there.
He should get there, and you know, there was nothing he could do up front. There was so many people in the box. It was just a mass of humanity. He couldn't do anything, but he did the smart thing, and he backed up to see where can I run. And when you're fast, you can do that. And he saw something to the outside, and he turned the jets on and just got there to the outside. Great day right there. Fantastic day.
Seven-yard touchdown run for Huntley. The Aggies went with tempo that entire offensive possession, and they score in 2 minutes and 1 second. 7 plays, 60 yards. That results in the 3rd touchdown for Huntley. He's accounted for all 21 Aggie points. Brown's kickoff is well through the end zone. Two minutes left here in quarter 3. Striking the Wonder Dog picks up the tee. Back and forth we go. It's been quite the game here today. The Aggies led 7-0 after 1 quarter. They led 14-13 at halftime. The Miners kicked a field goal moments ago, and then Huntley responds. If we're cold, they're cold, Danny.
I got a jacket on, and I'm saying it's getting cold here. They do not look like they're cold at all, and that's what happens, I guess, when you get to college. It's like, God, what cold? We're winning. You're never cold when you're winning.
My goodness. Some proud parents watching at home as their kids watch the game with their shirts off. Kai Loxley pulls it, and then he throws. Last-minute decision, Jacob Cowing almost broke loose. Jared Phipps dragging him down from behind into Aggie territory. Another last-minute decision for Kai Loxley.
You know, that's a design play, and that is a great play because that is taking it to the nth degree on whether I can run it or pass it. And you just run out of guys. It's like you're going to come get me. If you are, I'm going to dump the ball off. If you stay back, I'm going to run the ball. So that's a great play right there. part of what you got to do is keep Loxley locked up. Don't let him break the perimeter.
27 yards on the catch and run with freshman Jacob Cowing. Loxley, now he will run, and he cuts up field. Kai Loxley with a big run on first down. Combo tackle for Simmons Jr. and Perkins.
Well, Kai's feeling it for sure. Part of that is that he can jailbreak, and once he gets in the open, and he's a slippery guy, he's putting some yards in there, so you have to keep your eye on him. You're going to have to spy him.
18-yard run for Loxley. Now he throws just behind Cowing. If that's on target, it's a touchdown. He might have rushed it a bit.
He may have, and by the way, that's Perkins all day long. Perkins even knew it too. He looked back over at coach on the sidelines and said, hey, look, that was me. So here he is. This is a previous play where he's running in there. This is this jailbreak, and if you just don't keep him pinned up, he can make you pay.
Ball is at the 30 for UTEP. Final minute here in quarter 3. Those are some good numbers today for Loxley. Transfer from Iowa Western Community College, where he was an All-American, a first-teamer back in 2017. Second year in his final year at UTEP. Josh Fields, nothing there. He gets 2 yards. Third down for the Miners.
Another big third down right here.
Tough part of the field again for UTEP. Beckley missed a 47-yarder earlier. We'll see if the Miners can't convert on a third down here, or if Beckley has to come back out on fourth down. Loxley. Pocket collapses, he rolls, chased by Lopez. Now he runs, and he's pushed out of bounds. Xander Yarborough sent him out of bounds.
Boy, Xander really chased him down the line there, so everyone's covered. Nothing he could do with the ball, but Loxley playing a game, just keeping it open with his legs, and there he is just trying to go get as many positive yards as possible.
And that will take us to break at the end of 3 quarters. 21-16, the Aggies lead the Miners. Aggies and Miners, the 97th all-time meeting. The Aggies looking for their 3rd win in a row here in the Battle of I-10, and these two teams don't like each other. Roy Lopez talked about that this week. He expressed his feelings for the Miners at this week's weekly press conference.
Robert right there, UTEP is a school I don't like, and they know I don't like them. So it's always fun playing them. And whether we're home or away, you know, our fans travel, their fans travel. So, you know, this is a game I circle on my calendar, and I'm pretty sure we all do. And it's something that we look forward to. And you know, this team understands that, you know, we need to play our best football on Saturday. And what the past says and everything like that, we're 2-0 in the past 2 years, and trying to get it done, be 3-0 on Saturday.
Fourth and 3 for the Miners. Lopez and the Aggies trying to make a stop, and they can't. Cowing catches it, end zone, touchdown UTEP. Breakdown of the Aggies secondary. The Miners not only convert on fourth down, they take a lead on fourth down.
You end up in man coverage out there and just ran a great route. Aggies are on him, but here it is here. Time in the pocket. He sets his feet. Little post pattern in there, skinny post up the middle. Beats one guy, makes another Aggie defender miss, walks it on in for 6.
A 23-yard touchdown pass to Jacob Cowing. Miners will go for 2. Probably a no-brainer here in this scenario, trying to make it a 3-point lead. Reynaldo Flores, the running back, alongside Loxley. 3 wide receivers set. Boosie's in motion to the far side. Loxley steps up, throws, incomplete, batted away. Great play and coverage by Jared Phipps.
Jared Phipps, who's our leading tackler, has got 12 tackles on coverage this time. Loxley trying to find someone in the open there. Phipps just gets a hand in there. Great coverage. It's hard when receivers are running back and forth to keep your guy and keep him, out of the end zone. He did a great job.
That's huge because now a field goal for the Aggies would give them a lead.
Just might come down to who has the ball at the end here, Adam. There was just a lot of, you would think that momentum would go one way and stay one way, but it really hasn't. It's just gone back and forth. There's Mr. Lopez there. We need those big Bubbas up front to really make a push in this fourth quarter here.
We've talked about it numerous times today. The Miners have been extremely successful on fourth down this year. They came in 16 of 22 on fourth down, which was 13th best nationally. And they convert on their only fourth down attempt today. Loxley now 17 of 24 for 241 and 87 rushing yards. If you take out Jason Huntley, I think it's safe to say Loxley's been the best player on the field, but without a doubt, Huntley's been the best player overall today. This is Tony Nicholson again, and he is tripped up at the 30.
On the return.
They're going to mark him down, it looks like, at the 31-yard line. So the Aggies will start right there. 11 seconds into this fourth quarter. It's been a quiet day for Nicholson, though, Danny. In the passing game, he only has 2 catches for 7 yards, which those are low numbers for him.
I think most of our catches have been underneath, and not many deep passes here.
13 completions for Atkins. 7 of them have been to O.J. Clark, and he overthrows his target right here, looking for Robert Downs III. The Aggies just can't seem to find a whole lot in the passing game. 109 for Atkins, but 33 of those came on a catch from Jared Wyatt on the previous possession. Tony Nicholson has 6+ catches in 8 of the first 10 games this year, and here today he's been quiet. And there is nothing there for Jason Huntley. Ortega on the tackle for loss.
Every gap taken, we lose a sight of a guy there, kind of get past someone, and that's got by Sage Docksetter and makes it tackle in the backfield.
Loss of 2, 3rd and 12. Front side pressure. Atkins stays on his feet, tosses downfield, hauled in. Caleb Mills.
Glad to see Caleb Mills getting in the action here. Our 6'5" receiver, he can get up there if he has to. Josh keeps this thing alive. They're tugging on him, like you were saying. Lots of pressure from the front side. He keeps it alive. He finds Caleb Mills breaking across the deep route, and there he is. Good catch.
32-yard hookup. Now Atkins will throw again. This one on first down, and he throws it to Gibson, who wasn't ready for it. Christian had his back turned to Josh. An incompletion brings up 2nd down and 10.
But on that last one, Gibson saw that he was scrambling and he was trying to get open. He was covered, he was pinned on the sidelines, and Gibson was trying to move upfield to see if he can break open there, and there was just nothing happening. He had to get rid of the ball quickly.
Empty backfield, 5 out wide. Miners only rush 3. They drop back in coverage, so Atkins will run the football himself. The Aggies calling for a late hit from Stephen Forrester, the linebacker, who hasn't done a whole lot today, but had a career game last week against UAB.
Yeah, the last play, nothing there. Everyone's covered. Josh gets as many positive yards as he can here. Here he is scrambling. He's checking left, checking right. Nothing there, so he's going to get as many positive yards as possible. Forrester makes a tackle on him.
3rd and 5 for the Aggies. This would be a really, really long field goal right now for Dylan Brown. In motion, Bodison. The Aggies on a 3rd down. They're going to take a shot downfield. Downs can't haul it in. It was right in his breadbasket.
Let's go!
I think Downs trying to make a one-hand grab there. You know, there's battling, hand battling back and forth in there. They didn't throw a flag, but they've let him play both ways, being a little hand battling in there. There you see the pass. It was a good pass, but he just couldn't haul it in.
That was a well-thrown football. From the 34, it would be a 51-yard field goal, so the Aggies will go for it on 4th down and 5 yards. They've been good on 4th down this year. Catch is made by O.J. Clark, who makes a man miss, and the Aggies convert on 4th down.
O.J. Clark runs this pattern. We've seen it a couple times today. It's just a little comeback pattern. Does a little circle and comes back towards the quarterback. He breaks open. Josh is patient enough to stay in there and hits him when he's coming back across the middle. He knows where he needs to be for the 1st down. He hauls it in and turns upfield as fast as he can.
The Aggies needed 5. Clark gives them 14. Injured player for UTEP. And the Aggies now 4 of 5 on 4th down in the previous 2 games. Aggies driving, will break with the injured player for the Miners. Adam Young and Danny Nee with you. Miners ahead by 1. Final 13 minutes here in the 4th, and today's game is sponsored by Wells Fargo. The Aggie seniors really want to go out with a win here on Senior Day today, and O.J. Clark is doing everything in his power to head out with a win. He now has 8 catches for 64 yards, Danny.
Well, O.J. Clark is just turning it on. Nothing bigger than that last 4th down conversion, right? So that's a big one where we need it. If you don't get it, you're turning the ball over and giving UTEP good position. There he is trying to replay. He's like, I went like this. Here's what I did. But he had a great route, and it was all about O.J. Clark. He ran a fantastic route. Great pass by Josh to convert that 4th down.
All 3 Aggie touchdowns today have come on the ground from Jason Huntley. Ball is at the 20. Running backs coach Matt Christian right there. Huntley having a great day with 176 on the ground. A new career high for him. Bodison was in motion. The Aggies fake the handoff to Huntley. They throw it near side of the field to Andre Bodison. His 2nd catch today. 2 straight games for the Florida native with 2 catches.
Yeah, they broke him open. There was no one there on the coverage at all. And so he gets the ball. He turns it upfield. Good pursuit. Nothing fancy he wants to do with the ball. Just get positive yards, get out of bounds, and get ready for the next play.
1st down for the Aggies down to the 7 on a 13-yard catch and run for Andre Bodison. Career high for Huntley in rushing touchdowns is 3. The Aggies with trickery. They lob it, and it's hauled in. Josh Atkins receiving touchdown.
You know, the most incredible thing about that's fantastic, is Josh's catch. Well, the pass as well, right? So the pass barely got off. They were ready for it. It was a reverse pass. So as they're reversing back around, he stops. He puts the ball up. Here it is right here. There's Josh. Give him a little fake move out the left of your screen there. There's the pitch back to him. He comes back around. Look at him go up over a defender to get the ball. That is just a very athletic move by Josh.
Josh was fired up after he hauled it in.
There's the trick move right there. You see it at the bottom of your screen there. Toss back, throws it up, and Josh just goes to make a play on it. That's all Josh right there.
The Aggies will go for 2. Atkins rolling right, throws right, wide open, and it's dropped by Robert Downs III. Tony Nichols in the touchdown pass to Josh Atkins. Tony was a high school quarterback, uses it to his advantage. The Aggies regain the lead. Well, usually we talk about Josh Atkins throwing touchdown passes to Tony Nicholson. They reverse it on us today. Nicholson to Atkins, 7 yards away. But the Aggies could have made it a 7-point lead, and Robert Downs III can't haul in a pass from Josh Atkins. This was a good disguise play, and then the catch was remarkable by Atkins, going high to get it.
Yeah, he had to go back and get that ball. It was a little bit short, and he had no problem getting up. He had good hops in there, didn't he? Get up over top, grab the ball from the defender over his back, pulls it in.
And by the way, pass interference was called on the play, but of course declined. So despite pass interference, Atkins still snagged it for his first career receiving touchdown. 12 minutes left. Kickoff from senior Dylan Brown on senior day. And there will be no return for Duran Lowe, who takes a knee. He does have one kick return touchdown this year, and he will not get a chance on that one. In the second half, the Aggies have gone punt, touchdown, touchdown. The Miners have gone missed field goal, made field goal, touchdown. Both teams have had 3 offensive series here in half 2.
Hey, Adam, I think it's going to come down to, let's see which team can really get a defensive stand and get the ball back to the offense so they can convert it and keep the momentum going.
Kai Loxley has been the quarterback all day for the Miners. We did not know who would start. It was a game-time decision for second-year head coach Dana Dimmel. And he goes with Loxley, who is starting his 6th game this year. The pass is high, and it's deflected. Shamon Lomax, who left in the first half with an injury, looks just fine on this one.
Great coverage. He is on him all the way. What I like is that Lomax had so much composure, right? So guys coming across, he knows the ball's coming his way, and he just reaches over top with that right hand and knocks it down. That's just great coverage right there. Shamon is having a heck of a game. Glad to see he's back.
Was great against the Miners 2 years ago. 3 touchdowns in the Battle of I-10, or I should say 3 interceptions in the Battle of I-10 2 years ago. In that game, the Aggies had 5 picks as a team. Great numbers today for Loxley. 241 through the air. Only 8 incompletions. He's going to wait for blockers here, and he doesn't have anywhere to go. Tackle made by Jason Simmons Jr. all the way out of the Aggies secondary.
You know, this is just where you have to have patience on the offensive side, but you also have to have patience on the defensive side. While Loxley's trying to find a hole that's going there, you have to keep your composure and stay in the right spot. So you can't, from a defense, over pursue or run too quick at him. You got to stay in your lane and make him make the first step, and then you come in after him.
Miners 3 of 10 on 3rd down today. They've been one of the worst in the country on 3rd down all year. They need the 35-yard line. Motion man is Cowing, who gets a head start. Loxley overthrows his intended receiver, Cowing, then almost picked off by Simmons Jr.
I think he had him too, right? So he let the ball just kind of drift a little high for him, runs a post in there. And it's Simmons that's the safety. He's a single high safety. You see Loxley looking right across the middle there. And he had just a half a step on them and just got a little high on him.
Third punt today for Mitchell Crawford. The Aggies have to be careful. He did have a fake punt and ran for 26 yards last week. This is not the place to do it, but I'm sure that's in the back of the mind of the Aggies. Low punt. It takes a really good UTEP bounce inside the 25. It's going to roll out just shy of the 20. Now it keeps on rolling, and it's touched by the Miners. A punt of 55 yards for Mitchell Crawford. Aggie football after this. Adam Young alongside the former Aggie defensive back Danny Nee here today in the Battle of I-10. Josh Atkins has a receiving touchdown. That's the go-ahead score for the Aggies right now, 27-22 in the 4th. 2 years ago, the year before Josh Atkins came to the program, the Aggies dominated UTEP. It was here at Aggie Memorial Stadium. Larry Rose III had a big day. The offense was good and the defense was outstanding with 5 takeaways on 5 interceptions. Ryan Metz struggled as the quarterback for the Miners. Shimon Lomax had 3 interceptions individually, and the Aggies notched a 41-14 win. That started the winning streak. The Aggies looking for their 3rd straight win against the Miners. Jason Huntley had a big first half, a little quiet here in half 2. Hasn't had a whole lot of touches. He'll get a touch right here. That's carry number 10 for Huntley, who has now rushed for 178 yards, which is a new career high, and he's also tied his career high in rushing touchdowns with 3.
Had a big day, but there's still a lot of time left here.
The Aggies with the lead and the ball. Good job by the O-line protecting, and it's through the fingertips of Tony Nicholson. Tough day for Tony so far, who's been the best wide receiver all year for the Aggies. He leads them in catches, yards, and touchdowns receiving.
Looks like he just slipped in there, so it was just a quick stop route, and he stopped, but it just his feet gave out from underneath him, and he had to just try to one-arm that thing.
3rd and 8. 3 receivers set. They fake the handoff to Huntley, and the catch is incomplete. Flag was wanted by O.J. Clark. Coverage from Justin Rogers, who poked it away.
Well, here's an out route that he's throwing out there. Josh dumps it out there. Let's see if we can see anything. I don't know.
I think he just poked it, Danny, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it could have been. You just can't tell from that angle if he got that left arm in front of there. And he may got there just a second ahead.
Theisler, the punter, who's had a good day. Senior out of Phoenix on senior day. Sends it away to Garrett. A great punt by Theisler. Garrett catches it, and he's met immediately on special teams. Outstanding punt by Theisler. And it's Jawan Price again. Danny, he could be a future star at running back, and he's making his mark right now on special teams after the 55-yard boomer by Theisler.
First of all, what a heck of a punt there, but there you see your shooters on the top of the screen there come screaming in there, and he just makes a complete tackle right at the point at where he catches the ball. Great coverage.
Jawan Price, a young man out of Peoria, Arizona, who had a great high school career in the backfield. The Aggies love his ability down the road as a running back, but for now, he's a special teams guy, and he's playing his role well. Five minutes into the 4th. Aggies with the lead, Miners with the ball, 27-22. Been back and forth here in half 2. Wolf in motion. They fake the jet sweep. Loxley pump fakes. He throws and it's intercepted. The linebacker Rashi Hodge Jr. drops in coverage, and he gets his first interception as an Aggie.
You know, Adam, when we talked to Coach Martin at halftime, before he went up in halftime, he was saying, yeah, you know what would be great is that we could get a turnover on our defense. And so here it is right here, a turnover on defense. See the pass right there coming at you. Hodge steps in front, gets to the highest point is where you make those catches, those interceptions, and he pulls down a pick that could be the way the tide turns.
First turnover on either team. Just the 3rd Aggie to get an interception this year. Phipps has 2, Perkins with 2, and now Hodge with his first. Sweep handoff to Huntley. Huntley into Miners territory. Ball was started at midfield for the Aggies. Huntley picks up 5 yards on the rush.
And you know, Huntley runs a lot of yards. He runs north and south hard. and trying to get to the edge. Sometimes it takes him east and west, and he put a lot of mileage on that last play to get 4 or 5 yards, whatever it was.
Pistol back is Huntley. The Aggies go right back to him, and Jason Huntley diving for the marker. He's going to finish a yard shy, and it's going to be 3rd down and short.
Jason Huntley taking his time as he's picking his way through there. We got 2 UTEP players down.
Well, Danny, we saw Rashi Hodge Jr.'s numbers at the JUCO level coming in. We knew that he was a guy who could force a lot of turnovers, and he's turned out to be that here this year for the Aggies. A big interception for Hodge Jr., and now a big 3rd and 1 for the Aggies after this break. Gorgeous day here in the Southwest. Final home game this year for the Aggies, looking for their 2nd straight win. Miners trying to snap a 9-game losing streak. Both teams 1-9. But when these 2 programs tangle, you throw out the records. Does not matter. Big game nonetheless. 3rd down and a long one for the Aggies. They're going to use Christian Gibson, who spins, and he's going to be well short. So 4th down and a long one again. No gain for Gibson. We were wondering during the break if they would bring in Gibson, who's been quiet today, but he makes the most sense in a 3rd down and short situation.
Just a quick give right up the middle there, and just lots of pressure from that Miner defense, and there's nothing he could do with it. He just tried to get as many positive yards and lean forward, but he was still short, so it looks like they're going to go for it here.
Pretty good spot, so it's 4th and less than a yard. Heavy pressure shown, and it's Josh Atkins who keeps it and runs for a 1st down and signals immediately after. He's a tough kid out of Spring Branch, Texas, Smithson Valley High School.
I like the excitement. I like the energy, right? So when your quarterback is fired up, catching balls for touchdowns, he's running for 4th down, 1st down conversions, and he's fired up. It just makes you fired up as well.
Aggies driving, trying to extend their lead, which right now is at 27-22 on 4th. They fake it to Gibson, play action pass. Mills is open, and it's just out of his reach. Big target out of Gastonia, North Carolina. Could not grab it. Caldwell in coverage.
I think Josh was looking for him to kind of do a little banana route, almost coming back to the inside more, so he laid the ball out there. He just laid it up in the air because he knew he had the man beat, and it just went just a little too far.
The Aggies have taken a lot of shots downfield in this half, very few in half one. Good pull by Atkins. Blockers on the outside. O.J. Clark with a good block, and Atkins is shoved out of bounds into the UTEP sideline. Good idea, though, on the pull by Atkins.
It is. Run past there, and you see that there's everyone kind of converging, and he pulls the ball out and keeps it.
Ends up getting 5 yards. It could have been a loss in the play if he doesn't pull it. 3rd and 5 for the Aggies.
See him coming right back at you there and keeps the ball and gets as many positive yards as possible and puts him in a 3rd and mid.
The Aggies need the 29-yard line. Pass is batted, then caught by Atkins. They're going to lose a yard on it. It's going to be marked at the 35, which, Danny, would be a really long field goal for Dylan Brown of, it looks like 52 if they would kick it.
And he was just trying to hit an out route there, but he saw a defender just get an arm in there and knock that thing down. Josh catches it, but boy, he takes a lick there, and you can kind of looking at him there, and there's a big cheer on the sidelines from the Miners. Josh, just a tough kid. There he is catching the ball, trying to go put it back into play and get some positive yards for the first, and just gets leveled.
They're going to kick it.
Here we go.
Career long for Brown is 49. He made a 50-yarder at the JUCO level. Unofficially 53 for Brown. And it is good. Dylan Brown on the money.
Here it is, senior night. Everyone's watching. You got family, you got friends, everyone comes in. It's a big time to kick a long field goal, and you got to have a good snap, hold, and you got to finish your kick. And there, Adam, he finished it.
Danny, he had some extra juice on that one too. That might have been good from 57 or 58.
And the confidence Coach Martin has, it says, you know what, on fourth, this is a long one, but I'm going for it. I'm gonna put Dylan out there, and I'm gonna put him in a position to succeed, and he does. He succeeds. He kicks it through.
A new career long for Dylan Brown at all levels, the JUCO and the D1 FBS level. An 8-play drive, only 15 yards. There wasn't a whole lot of offensive production following the interception by Hodge. But most importantly, Danny, it covers 3 minutes and 33 seconds. So the Aggies take some time off the clock, and now they lead by 8.
And getting points off a turnover is important, right? So that shows that you can do something with the ball once you have it. Use the clock, get points, get the wonder dog out. Everybody's happy.
And now Javon Ferguson in the Aggie defense has to get a stop. And it might only take one more stop to get the win here today. Loxley has had a good day, but he just threw a big interception that leads to 3 points for the Aggies. Trayvon Hughes, nowhere to go. The Aggie defense doing a better job against the run here in this half. Matt Young, the Oñate High School grad here in town, makes the tackle for the Aggies.
You know, Matt Young being a local guy, he understands the importance of these games because he's lived through them. And of course, his dad played through many of these, and he knows the importance of them. So it's not surprising that Matt Young steps it up to the next level to make a big stop right there.
Clock moving, under 6 left to go in the fourth. A back and forth rivalry game today. Pass is batted away. Xander Yarborough was the one who batted it away. Matt Young will run it in. They're going to call it a touchdown for now. We'll see if it was a throw or a fumble. They're going to check it, but for now it's a fumble recovery touchdown for Matt Young.
So we just got talking about Matt Young, and he knows the importance of this thing. And there it is, a turnover right here. Let's see who knocks it out of his arm, though, first of all. Coming around the outside with it. Is that Xander that knocked it down? Matt Young picks it up, scoops it, and takes it to the house. Showing his dad, Mr. Fred Young. I know you're up on the Hall of Fame here in Aggie Memorial, but did you do one of these where you scooped it and took it to the house on an important rivalry game? Good job, Matt Young.
Point after from Dylan Brown. First to whistle. Dana Dimble trying to make sure they're going to look at it.
There was no timeout on the play. The ruling was confirmed for a touchdown.
Okay, so they will not look at it. Dana Dimble did not call a timeout, and Dylan Brown will have a second attempt at this extra point here. So often this year, it's been the Aggies committing crucial, costly turnovers at tough times. Today, it's been the Aggie defense forcing turnovers. Hodge a pick, forced fumble Yarborough, scoop and score Matt Young, who has seen this rivalry since he was a kid.
You know, at halftime, Coach was talking about it would be nice to get a turnover, and here you see it again right here. See Yarborough coming over top, knock the ball out of his hand before he gets even in motion. Matt Young has the presence to scoop it, and he's got the wheels to turn that thing into 6, taken to the house. Coach Martin wanted turnovers. He wanted something out of the defense. He said that at halftime, Adam. So now he comes back. We get a pick, which turns into 3, and now you knock the ball down. You get a scoop and score. I think Coach Martin has got what he's requested.
It goes as a 19-yard fumble return touchdown for Matt Young, his first touchdown collegiately. And I'll be interested now, Danny, to see if Loxley is back out there or if they go to Hardison for throwing purposes. Now, Loxley's thrown the ball pretty well today, but the Miners have to score in a hurry.
Yeah, they do. So they got to put two scores in there in a hurry and get it back in the game at least, right? So let's see who they come out with. Now, Loxley's got a good arm. We've seen him throw the ball quite well, but he's turned one over. Last week when they started playing and Loxley threw a pick, had some things happen, they went with a backup. They went back to Gavin Hardison, and Gavin came in and did quite well. So let's see who they go with now.
They're going to stay with Loxley. 2 turnovers on the Miners in their last 3 offensive plays. Five and a half left. Pressure from behind. Loxley will throw out of bounds into the Aggie sideline. Heavy pressure came, and it was Roy Lopez who led the pressure.
You know, when the defense is feeling good and you got everyone fired up, you got that man right there, Mr. Roy Lopez, fired up. And his pregame rituals, too, by the way, are something to be viewed if you haven't come to a game out here. This is fantastic. Roy Lopez is on a tear up front there. You get him, you get Hodge coming at you. That's tough.
The Aggies rush 4. Loxley has it dropped. Incomplete. He was looking for Justin Garrett. It was a good throw, and Garrett just dropped it. 3rd down coming up.
It's hard to make a comeback when you're at a quarterback and you make a good throw and it gets dropped by a receiver and hits him right there. So that's one that should have been caught. You can kind of see it in there. Loxley sitting in the pocket, makes a nice zip down the middle there. It should have been caught.
The Aggies rush 5 on a 3rd down and 10. Loxley slithers out of a tackle, and he gallops into Aggie territory before he's knocked down by Brennan Davis. The Aggies had him for a sack, and he got away.
And he's slippery, and he's fast. And when you get a jailbreak and you let him out of your grasp, you should have had him there, but you're going to have to hold on tight. You see him scrambling around there. We bring lots of pressure up front. The pocket collapses. Lopez can't hold on, and Loxley just scrambles downfield.
Loxley going downfield, and the pass is caught by Garrett just short of the pylon.
That's a big pass right there. So there's Loxley making a big toss deep downfield in coverage. Got turned around a little bit. I think that was Davis in coverage, and he just got turned around, and it was just enough for the receiver to come in there and make a good play. It was a good pass. And then went with tempo, right? So you didn't let the Aggies fall back there and collect themselves on what's going on. It's like, let's hurry up, pedal to the metal. Now the Aggies need to really dig their heels in here and not give them anything easy.
First completion by Loxley since 2 minutes left in the 3rd quarter.
Timeout, UTEP. Their second. It will be 30 seconds.
Miners use a timeout with 4:26 left here in the 4th. Join us on Wednesdays at Rudy's Barbecue for the Aggie Coaches Show at 1020 North Telstra Boulevard. We're joined by Aggie football head coach Doug Martin, men's basketball head coach Chris Giants, the AD Marty Omocha, and others. That's the Aggie Coaches Show on Wednesdays from 6 to 7 at Rudy's Barbecue. Matt Young with a scoop and score. The Aggies ahead by 15, but the Miners trying to punch it in.
Please reset the game clock to 4:30, 4:30.
And 4 seconds onto the clock, so 4.5 left. Jumbo package, who's better? Ball is knocked loose. Picked up by the Miners. Touchdown UTEP. I think Loxley was over the plane initially.
That's what it looks like they're calling right there.
And I'm sure Loxley's the one who will get credit for the touchdown here. The signal came before it was jumped on by the Miners. Loxley 6'4", and he can jump. And he jumped over the pile. Perkins knocked it loose. Miners jumped on it anyway, but first Loxley will get credit for the touchdown, jumping over the pile. At some point the Miners will have to go for 2, but here they're just going to kick the extra point. Goes as a 1-yard touchdown run for Loxley, his 5th rushing touchdown this year. Point after from Peckley. Out of the hold of Crawford. And it's a 1-score game, but they're going to need 8 to tie it.
Here it is right here, Adam. You can see as he leaps over, and you talked about the leaping ability Loxley has, because he is a long, lanky guy. He leaped over there, broke the plane with the ball. That's a touchdown. Well, he got them back in the game in a hurry here, right? So now we have a game. 8 points, 4 minutes, 27 seconds left. Some good football to be had.
And you're inches away from this game pretty much being over if you're the Aggies. Roy Lopez almost dropped Loxley for a sack, and if he does that, this one could be all but over. But instead, Loxley got a big run as he escaped tacklers. He ran for 40, and then he runs it in from 1 yard away. 37-29, 4:27 left. Still in a good spot if you're the Aggies, but you felt a whole lot more comfortable when you're up 37-22 just moments ago.
Yeah, 2 big plays, right? So it's the jailbreak that Loxley has, and he gets huge yardage. And then the other is he comes back right away and throws a deep pass, and that puts them right at the one where they convert. I think it's important that the Aggies come back, get the tempo back. You have to get some first down, use some clock.
The kickoff is a short one, handled by Tony Nicholson. Tony Nicholson falls forward to the 35-yard line. On the ground today for the Aggies, 12 carries for Huntley for 187 and 3 touchdowns. 6 carries for Gibson for 8 yards. The Aggies, as they have recently, only using 2 running backs. So do you expect a healthy dose of Huntley right here?
Yeah, I think you're going to have some Huntley, but you also have to be able to get some first downs here, right? So you just can't go 1, 2, 3, stop and turn the ball over, but you do got to also not just throw the ball 1, 2, 3 and be out. So you got to kind of still have a balance and still get positive yards.
Huntley's averaging 16 yards per carry. Pretty good pickup there on first down up to the 39-yard line, a 4-yard pickup for Huntley. As he approaches the 200 mark, he now has 191. His first career game was against UTEP as a freshman.
You see the Ags going to use some clock here too as well. And you would think, Adam, if you call someone that says, hey, this guy's rushed for 191 yards, you would expect that there would be a huge advantage to that team. And it's still a ball game right here, and he's put that many yards up on the stats.
Clark's in motion. Huntley gets the carry, and he's dragged down by the linebacker, Stephen Forrester, who comes up to make the tackle.
I think that's what Coach is talking about stacking the box there. They have everyone up on that, so this case they know they're going to hand the ball off to Huntley. Everyone's up there, so you got more guys that we can block, and they just drag him down right away.
25. 3:25.
They're going to add 3 seconds to the clock, and UTEP calls a timeout. Adam Young, Danny Nee, Anthony Casals up here. Talent stats for us. Great to have you with us from Aggie Memorial Stadium today. Final home game of the season. And this has been a typical rivalry game here today, Danny, back and forth the majority of the game.
It has been, and it's been a hard-fought game. We talked about it in the open that this was going to be a big one, a big game, a challenging game, an exciting game, and it's been all of those things, Adam. Big third down conversion right here. You pick up the third down, you get to keep the clock going, and so this is an important one right here.
They're going to call it 3rd down and 7. Heavy pressure from UTEP. O-line does a good job, and O.J. Clark hauls in the pass for a 1st down. O.J. Clark, 9 catches, by far most on the team today.
Wow. Great pass, great catch. You can see that everyone was coming. So if you look at the replay right here, they bring the house, and it's like, no, we're not going to let you have one easy. And it was just man-on-man coverage out there. He runs an out route. He has to make a perfect pass out there to O.J. Clark, who brings that one in and muscles it. And yes, you did, man. Flex those muscles because you deserve it. That was a good catch right there.
Clock moving again as the chains are set. 2:53 left here in the 4th quarter. Christian Gibson bounces off one of his teammates, explodes through a hole. Christian Gibson, far sideline, breaks the tackle. The dagger from Seagib on senior day.
The 1-2 punch of Huntley Gibson. Huntley's going to take a break, and that just doesn't matter. Gibson finds the hole in there, and he takes it to the house, and he pushes that thing all the way up there. And you're right, Adam, that's the dagger. That's the one right there. That will do it. You can see it right here. He's looking in the middle, nothing there. Bounces to the outside, just like a Huntley, just like anyone else. Both hard runners. Gibson breaks a tackle, takes it to the outside, and right to the house. And the dagger to the heart of the Miners.
He fumbled, Danny, on the 1-yard line last week on a big run in a similar situation. He wasn't fumbling right there.
No, he was not. He was taking that thing in there, and he was making sure he held the ball, held on tight the whole time. What a great job. You know, both those running backs are just fantastic. It is truly a 1-2 punch. Gibson is a hard runner. He will take it straight up there and run you over, but he also has some breakaway speed, as you see right there. No one's catching him. He knew what was at stake, and he took that all the way to the house for the dagger in the heart, as you said, Adam.
Some of the Miner fans are heading out. 44-29 with 2:39 left here in the 4th quarter. The Aggies looking for their 2nd straight win into the season finale against Liberty next Saturday.
You know, trying to just pick up the 1st down to keep the clock going, but Gibson sees a hole on the outside. He bounces it to the outside. Great blocking, and man, does he just finish it nicely.
53-yard touchdown run for Gibson, his longest run this year. His previous long was 49 yards. And he gets a running score for the 2nd straight week.
It's great to have his parents in town for senior night, so parents came to see him play, and for seeing him play, he takes it a 53-yarder touchdown.
Walter Dawn Jr., the return man for UTEP. Christian Gibson also plays on special teams, and he's fired up. It's been a long year, Danny. It's been a tough year, and we knew and we talked about the schedule going in. To see these guys get rewarded on the tail end has been fun to watch.
And that was Christian Gibson that you saw kind of give him a hug on the sidelines. When I talked to Christian last week, he just had nothing but praise to say about both running backs. And he's just a stand-up guy, and he just couldn't say enough great things about it. And a former Aggie myself, it just does my heart well when you know that someone is such a good guy on and off the field.
Miners need a score in a hurry. Pocket collapses. Loxley incomplete.
Wow.
Austin Perkins was crossing, and freshman Jacob Cowing appears to be injured. He was the intended receiver.
Boy, Loxley let that thing fly, though. He bounced around in the pocket there and found someone open downfield, and he let it rip.
The Aggies have had two 53-yard touchdown runs today. Gibson and Huntley have both scored from 53 yards away.
There's Kai just keeping it alive with his legs, knowing that he has to go deep and find something. He has to score in a hurry. Oh, right over top on his neck.
Jacob Cowing, a freshman from Maricopa, Arizona, who's been a great surprise this year for the Miners, having a great year. Leads the team in receiving yards. Has a receiving touchdown today. Four catches for 69 yards for Cowing this afternoon.
And he had a big last week as well with 5 catches for 85 yards.
Silence in the entire stadium right now here at Aggie Memorial. Dana Dimmel, the head coach for the Miners, right there speaking to the official. Cowing has been the main target the last couple of weeks for Kai Loxley. He came into this game with 11 catches for 230 yards in his previous 2 games. And he's only a freshman, a bright future for a guy who's made a huge impact from day one in this Miners program. A good sign here as Cowing sits up on the turf.
There we go.
Outstanding sign right there as he walks off on his own power. Great news.
Yeah, it's good to see that.
Jimenez, leads on police officer.
2:27 left in the fourth. 44-29 Aggies. Aggies led 7-0 through 1, 14-13 through 2, and 21-16 through 3. And now the Aggies have scored 23 points in the fourth. And they've done it in a variety of ways. Passes caught by Walter Dawn Jr., redshirt junior, who just makes his 3rd catch this entire year. Third and 4 for the Miners. And this one is caught by Alan Busey. Busey with his 2nd catch today, his 17th this year. Chains will move for the Miners. Clock is not on their side with just over 2 minutes left. 2-possession game. Pocket collapses on Loxley. Can't get away from Miles Veen. Young man out of New Orleans with his first sack this year.
You know, we saw this last week, Adam, where it's a house of cards. When you get one defensive lineman that's in there doing something big, everyone just kind of gets in there. Miles gets a hold of that jersey, and most importantly, he got to hold on because Kai can slip away.
Zinging a pass ahead is Loxley, and he connects with a wide receiver near midfield. That is Justin Garrett, who makes the catch.
He did throw that on a rope, didn't he? He just drilled that thing in there.
Only $1:20 left, though. Miners running low on time. Loxley, hurry-up offense, zings it again. Shoestring catch is made by Walter Dawn Jr. Up to the 30 for UTEP. 1:09 left.
Now they're going to hurry a little bit, get to the line of scrimmage and make something happen. Aggies, of course, are playing a little soft. They're playing back, right? So the thing they don't want to do is give them a walk-in TD.
Loxley drops back. He pump fakes. Now he's signaling for a teammate. And he sends it to Walter Dawn Jr., his third catch on this drive. And an Aggie player goes down with 55 seconds left. Rashi Hodge Jr., the one who goes down for the Aggies. Danny, that Matthew Young returned fumble for a touchdown was the first fumble return for a touchdown since Shane Jackson against Texas State last year. On the 27th of October, the Aggies also had a scoop and score against UTEP last year from Malik Demby, who graduated 1 year ago.
Saw that in the highlights. That was Malik had a great career as well, but he also very talented scoop and score.
Jonathan Hood came in for Rashi Hodge. They loft a pass to the end zone, and it's too far. Intended for Dawn, who's been the main target for Loxley during this drive in the final minute.
There's Jason Simmons back there on coverage as well as Austin Perkins. You see Austin Perkins there. Came in the second half, didn't play the first half because of ejection in the prior game, but had a fantastic second half.
Shane Jackson now in at the money position for Matt Young. Loxley goes down again. Roy Lopez doing the dance.
It's going to show you how it's done there. Going to celebrate, give you a little shake of how it's all put together. What an energetic guy. And you know, we talked about him being the heart and soul of that defense. When he's on the field, everyone just gets fired up.
Loxley on 3rd and 20, rifles a pass incomplete. Intended for Trayshawn Wolf. Flag down though, near the line of scrimmage.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense number 88. Going to be half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
Penalty called on Xander Yarborough here in the final 4 seconds. The Aggies will win their 3rd straight against the Miners for the first time in this rivalry since 1993 through 1995. And the seniors in this group will improve to 3-1 against UTEP. Time expires. Loxley completes it for the touchdown to Justin Garrett.
Touchdown.
In the final seconds.
Ball game is over.
And that's the ball game. The Aggies defeat the Miners for the 3rd straight year, and they've won 2 in a row. Bring on the silver spade and the brass spittoon.
Man, Javon Ferguson has had one heck of a career. He grabs that brass spittoon, and I'm not going to let it go. He worked hard for it. He had a great game again.
They have 2 traveling trophies in this rivalry. The silver spade, which has been given out since 1955. There's the brass spittoon, the newest of the 2 traveling trophies. Been around since 1982, and Javon Ferguson might not let go.
Man, winning feels good. Makes everything feel good all around. Even the bumps and bruises that you have, when you win, they just don't feel as bad.
Danny, the biggest stat today, no turnovers. None by the offense for the first time all year. And it leads to an Aggie win for their second win of the season. You cannot duplicate that feeling right there for those guys who have battled so hard this year. They get the smell, the taste of victory, and it's nothing better when you beat a rival.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. You get bragging rights. Josh, how about Josh catching a touchdown pass? Going up there showing that he's got little hops, pulls one down. There's a silver spade right there.
Yeah, we saw a few different things today. A scoop and score for Matt Young. Interception for the linebacker Rashi Hodge Jr. Mason Huntley ties his career high with 3 rushing touchdowns. And as you mentioned too, Josh Atkins with a receiving touchdown from Tony Nicholson.
All on senior night, Adam. That's a fantastic feeling right there.
And now Javon Ferguson is holding the silver spade. So he had the brass spittoon earlier, and now he has the silver spade. What the heck is Josh Atkins doing at midfield? Adam Young, Danny Neat, joined by head football coach Doug Martin. Coach, congrats on the win here today. 3 straight against the Miners. I'm sure the biggest stat for you today is no turnovers offensively, and you win the turnover margin today.
That was huge, Adam, and that's the thing's been plaguing us this year. And for this senior class to be 3-1 against UTEP, that's huge.
Hey, Coach Danny Nee, at halftime you said it would be great to get a turnover or 2. You got a pick, you got a scoop and store. How about that? Is that enough?
Yeah, we did enough to win defensively. We gave up yards, but the best thing, our offense answered. When they scored, we answered and got the lead back. And, that's what good teams do. I'm just proud of our guys. They fought hard through a lot of adversity this year and practiced hard every day. And, they deserved this win for sure.
You told us, Coach, at halftime they were loading the box and expecting a run from Huntley. Josh Atkins stepped up big with some nice throws in half 2.
He did. He made some plays. We left some out there, but he made enough plays for us to to get down in there and get the running game going again.
Coach, your guys have stuck through this entire season. They're finishing strong here down the stretch. What does that tell you?
Well, a lot about their character, especially the senior class. It would have been easy for a senior class to fold it up on the way the season's gone, but those guys have been great leaders, and, this team hadn't backed off at all. They practice hard every day. They fight hard every day. I'm proud of this group.
Hey, Coach, scripted senior day. Congratulations. Nice job.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
All right, Danny, thank you so much. Aggie head coach Doug Martin. The Aggies win 44-35 against the UTEP Miners. The first 3-game win streak since 1993 through 1995. We'll have postgame after this. Aggies win here today in the Battle of I-10, their 3rd straight win against the Miners, their 2nd straight win overall. The Aggies beat UIW last week. They get the Miners here today, and the Aggies can finish their season on a 3-game win streak with a win next weekend in Lynchburg against the Flames of Liberty. Adam Young along with former Aggie Danny Nee. Delighted to have you with us here today. Thanks for joining us on our final telecast of the season, and it was a fun one. The defense stepped up big, and for the first time this year, the offense had 0 turnovers.
Oh, it's fantastic all the way around, right? And senior night, what a great way to finish it with family and friends here. That's a fantastic job. It was just a good game all the way around, especially when you get that W.
The Aggies made some big plays late. The defense included a big scoop and score for Matt Young, huge interception for Rashi Hodge Jr., and we head to the highlights. The first quarter, the Aggies got off to a good start. A heavy dose of Jason Huntley, Danny, in half 1.
Well, Jason Huntley, he tweeted out that I'm gonna have a big day, and he did have a big day. Jason Huntley was hot.
Yeah, he said on Twitter he predicted 210 yards and 3 touchdowns. He finishes with 191 and 3 touchdowns, so he was awfully close to his word. Kai Loxley was tough to stop all day.
Kai Loxley is tough. You're right, and so he did a great job in there, keeping him in the game.
Loxley was good on the ground, 103 yards rushing. He also threw for well over 300 yards, and every time the Aggies needed a big play, they went to Jason Huntley.
Jason Huntley did it all, right? So every time you needed something big, he was the guy. I think both had 53-yard touchdowns, and so Jason Huntley, what a great year.
Yeah, it was a day of explosion plays for the Aggie running backs. 53-yard touchdown run for Gibson, 53-yard run as well for Jason Huntley, and here he is again, staying patient like Larry Rose III used to do, waits for his blockers and makes a move.
You're absolutely right. Larry Rose was perfect at that, so was Jason tonight.
The Aggies led 21-16 through 3. The Miners actually took a lead on that touchdown catch by Jacob Cowing, and the Aggies went with some trickery, Danny. Nichols into Atkins.
Little trickery, right? So yeah, Jay Atkins kind of sneaks out into the end of the end zone and screams up there and grabs one off the defenders.
And this was huge. Rashi Hodge Jr. with his first interception this year, and it came at a big time.
Yeah, Coach wanted some turnovers on defense, and you see Hodge there with one. It was a great pick. And there you see Mr. Young scooping and scoring. Great job. Coach wanted production on defense and got it.
Matt Young, his first collegiate touchdown. A 1-yard touchdown run for Loxley, and here's the dagger. Christian Gibson, on a day where he didn't do a whole lot, he sent the Aggies into the locker room with the win with a 53-yard touchdown run to finish off the game here today. So a big day all around, a big day for the running backs. Jason Huntley, 2 straight games now, Danny, where he's had career days.
Yeah, Jason Huntley is a force to be reckoned with, right? Both him and Gibson are tough runners, but Jason Huntley had a fantastic day again.
The Aggie offense, big again, 40-plus for the second straight game. The Miners offense had a good day, almost 600 yards of total offense. A lot of those came, though, late when the Miners were trying to come back, and they scored a touchdown in the final seconds. Our Whataburger play of the game, early on, we thought maybe it would have been one of the touchdown runs by Huntley, but it was Gibson who finished off the game.
Oh, a little change there. We see Gibson coming back. Gibson proving that he still can do it on senior night. Dagger in the heart, as you called Adam. He sees nothing on the inside. He bounces to the outside. Will not be denied. Like Huntley, takes it to the house. Christian Gibson, touchdown.
Christian Gibson had no rushing touchdowns all year until last week, and now he has one each here in the last 2 games for the Aggies, and now they will head to Liberty, and we'll see if Gibson can finish off his collegiate career on a high note after a nice run to finish off the game here today. So Christian Gibson with our Whataburger play of the game. Biggest stat, Danny, that 0 number next to turnovers for the Aggie.
Oh, I think that really helps, right? Especially when you're going to have a close game. The score indicates that it wasn't so close, but it really was. And so that turnover 0 is very important here.
All 3 Aggie sacks came in half 2. They really revved up the pressure and the passing yards. They weren't great in half 1, but Josh Atkins made some big throws in half 2.
Yeah, I think they had 70 yards in the first half, and so Coach said, hey, we need to be able to throw the ball a little bit more, and he came out and did throw the ball quite well.
Aggies win this one 44-35, our final telecast of the year. Danny, enjoyed it as always, and we finished on a high note. How about that?
We did. We like that, Adam. Great job this year.
The Aggies will have one more game left. It's on the road next week in Lynchburg, Virginia, when the Aggies travel to Liberty, and who knows, the Aggies could finish this season on a 3-game winning streak and have some good momentum into the 2020 campaign. We appreciate you joining us all year here for our coverage of Aggie football. Join us for our final telecast on Saturday, December 7th, Aggie Women's Hoops against Weber State at 1 p.m. Today's broadcast was a co-production of students and staff at New Mexico State. For the entire crew all year for Aggie football, and my partner, the former Aggie Danny Nee, Adam Young, thanking you for joining us. Aggies defeat the Miners. Good afternoon from Las Cruces.